Alrighty, how my gamers doing tonight? Howdy howdy. Sunday evening, and this is the weekly bounty hunters that you're watching, right? Meow. Coming up soon is 7 matches that happen every Sunday starting 5 p.m. CET, that's pretty soon. Open for everyone to participate, of course. As you might have grown accustomed to, the name of the game is Guilty Gear Strive for this Sunday spectacle, and the format is first to 7 wins. Gosh, using fancy words is difficult. I'm your usual host, QK, and now let's take a look at what's in store for tonight, especially since we are working with a slightly tighter schedule for our first match. We're actually hoping to start in maybe like 5-ish minutes, just to make sure that Koi will be able to play the first one successfully. Alright, really quick rundown. Explosive card this time around, I think, is the least one could say. We got Leos, Slayers, Angis, Abbas, Nagos, Maze, and gosh darn it, I think just one match tonight, a match that's a bit more lower tempo, that being the 5th slot match between Jacko and Faust. Some of the pairings, even if they contain an explosive candidate, they also do have characters that are capable of slowing down the tempo at the same time. For example, we've got 2 Kais and 2 Jackos on the roster against those explosive characters, both able to either zone or limit the movement capabilities of the opponent greatly if stars start aligning. Such as, like, you know, being able to play Nago to High Blood and things of the same nature. And of course, the same kind of applies to the ABBA matchup in a way. What more, we are starting today with a random select match. It's been a while, and it's been, this time around it's an asymmetrical one as well. That means Koi will be randoming a character between every match, or I guess rather, we will be randoming a character for him, since Strive surprisingly does not support a random picker as many fighting games do. But anyway, Radune will be rocking that Daredevil Leo in that match, as, you know, you all have, you know, grown to know and love him for. It's an interesting match, though, since Koi has a lot of different characters around, I would say, Radune's skill tier. So in my mind, as a prediction, this could perhaps be the most even asymmetrical random select match of Bounty Hunter's history. Although, at the same time, not like we've had too many of those either, so take that as you will. We're following Koi's and Radune's matchup with a super high tier match as Kaito and Aatreus collide on screen. So Kaito Slayer is basically, I think, the meta pick of Bounty Hunters right now. I'd be hard pressed to bet money versus Kaito in his current form. So it certainly will be a challenging match for Aatreus. But the thing is, Aatreus is really daring as well, and keeps telling me to put him against, like, the top dogs, the top absolute best players available. And so you shall have it, brave warrior. Good luck in your deathmatch tonight. Next, we're reaching the midpoint of the show by having 2 back-to-back ABBA games. First, Shadder and Spooky are going to test their mettle in a control versus a killer match where Kai's ability to keep ABBA out of the install mode will be tested. Following it up with a slugger, as probably 2 of the hardest hitting characters in the game collide in the form of Orthodox Choice Slayer, who is making his debut today on Bounty Hunters, as well as Metadona. So Metadona has been like a little bit of, what should we say, half and half Johnny and ABBA on Bounty Hunters so far. And I think even though the ABBA matches have been very entertaining, he's still in search of that first ABBA W. Let's see, what does our timing tell us? We still have a couple more minutes to talk smack. Then, of course, we have our quotations slow and quotations technical match of the evening as Munch and Worst duke it out in the slot number 5. I think we always talk about like when these two characters are paired against each other, we're trying to figure out like who has the best value for summoning at full screen, but I think the cake usually goes to Jacko, so Faust has to be a little bit more aggressive in this pairing. Then for the last two matches, we have Icarus, aka Maria, in that good old, I was about to say good old Maria, good old Nagoriyuki. Perhaps a new name, but same patented Mad Woman gaming you've grown to like from Maria. It's gonna go against our second first-timer of the evening, Sanya Buldozer, Kai matchup. And of course, we're finishing it up with OLC May, another super regular on Bounty Hunters, versus a newcomer, the third one of the evening. This would be, what was the request? The Sandwich. Jacko. Another Jacko. Once again, you know, May wants to go in, Jacko wants to keep her out. Maybe zone, maybe set play, that kind of stuff. But now, time is progressing. So let's see, what order do we do this? We maybe show the card first. Let's get both Kara and let's see, where should we put the randoms? We could also, while we wait, we could random the first character for Koi. Actually, we shall do that. Let's fix these thingy-majigs, thingy-mabobs. This here. And let's see, what's the first character we're running for Koi tonight? Of course, for Koi's choice, every character will be in the pool. Ooh, so close to sin, not quite. The first one is gonna be a Ramlet though. And yeah, as we were about to say, we don't remove characters from the pool tonight, as per the player's choice. Of course, usually when we play these random matches, players get to choose, like, if they want to remove the characters once they're random into, so that duplicates do not occur. But we can also play it like this, where duplicates can occur. And off we go, first one. Koi Radune. Koi just has so many different characters. I've been talking about this once I've been, or like as I've been sort of checking out Koi's virtual credentials, let's say it like that. So many different characters, so much playtime on, you know, a lot of different ones. Let's see how it's gonna pan out. I actually forgot to check like which skill tier Koi put Ramlethal in. We got basic Ramlethal corner pressure. I mean, technically, it's not too difficult if you get into a block string. You put down the sword, and with the current modern Season 4 sword, it's gonna be hard for the opponent to do much about it once it sort of lands on block. Radune, of course, going for the DP. If to reverse the situation, the 2K2D was the 2D string actually ends up whiffing, so Radune gets a whiff punish there. And now into super, and I think with the defense modifier of Ram, it's actually not gonna go down, but goes for a high risk, throw crush there with the use of jump D. But he's one of those players who loves using the jump D a lot, as we say, goes for it again. It is one of those moves that puts you airborne, so by definition will not be throwable at all. I 5, but now Koi finding a small hit to KaitouDandy, connects this time, followed up with a meteor rock, which should be a pretty safe bet against Radune. If the SDP is coming, wow, that was a backdash, but still, Leo's command grab, moving forward, yoinking it out of there. Koi forcing the RPS, spending a lot of resources. This is kind of what you have to do at this point, because you can't go back to neutral very easily with the life disadvantage that we're working with. Super counter. Oh, that actually did not convert into anything. That might have been a rather rare hit as well. And since I'm so smart, I already switched back to the, what do you call it? The non-rematch lobby. Next random will be a Dizzy, and I think this one, without looking at the screen, I think this is one of Koi's worst characters. Yeah, it's there at the bottom, 0 XP tier, the lonely Dizzy and lonely Biken there, sorry, not Biken, the other Biken, Bridget, looming at the end. Without much hours put into it, this is kind of the RNG nature of this kind of event. You generally, how you want to play it, like if you dare to take part in this kind of style of event where your character gets random between every single round, the best thing is to have like most of the characters at least around the half of the tier list, whereas you have basics down, and try to minimize the amount of characters that you just can't play at all. And this is particularly tricky one, because like she is set play, she has a lot of stuff that you kind of need to check. What was that? Jumping over the SDP there, utilizing the fish, and the momentum from the ice floor. Koi actually ends up getting it. What was that? That tricky setup there. Summoning a fish, then jumping over. Generally, the fish will not work as it did in the past games. Went for the heavy spike instead, but Radune is already close by. That's one of those things that your muscle memory might not be accustomed to. Even if you know you want to use the close by spike, you might fire the heavy one and completely miss your opponent. Koi can't afford to take a L on this. Ooh, wait, that was not set properly by Radune, because usually if you make that meaty, then the Berserker Slash should be unthrowable. So there was some amount of gap in between. Although you could theoretically insert the gap on purpose. Let's see the punish. This is a pretty simple combo, and it only did like third of the opponent's life bar. This certainly has pretty beefy combos if you actually get to do them. Right jump over, however, not for free. Even though Koi got out of the corner, Radune punished on the way out, but save for Koi. And now side switch, both players fighting for that. Yeah, there we go. The fish will actually not absorb any strikes whatsoever. Oh, please tell me no disconnects today. A little bit of a hiccup, but we're still in it. And Koi has advantage here in terms of life. But look at Radune's resource bar. The tension, the burst, we have so much. If Radune gets to this distance, skips into the back turn stance, has to cancel here to not get punished on the 2D, and the patience from Koi with the throw. OTG is not going to be enough, tries it though. Any hit is going to be okay. The goal first, whiffs, and then the reversal super on the follow-up. Koi opens it up with a character that was marked as completely zero, no experience whatsoever. Does this mean that Dizzy is easy to pick up? I mean, technically, if you've seen some Dizzy gameplay, you can kind of try to implement some of that into your game plan. And Dizzy is, like we said, a character. Dizzy is a character who has quite a huge damage potential just with like a couple of different hits. So with just basics and knowing like your ABC combo, you can actually get pretty decent value potentially out of her. So next one is gonna be Potemkin, completely different kind of momentum here. And Potemkin is in the basics tier. The cool thing about Potemkin and Leo, both characters do wanna go in. and brawl. I'm not actually certain which character is better at brawling. It's especially since Potemkin is a little Potemkin is kind of new in this current iteration, where a lot of his frame situations have changed because well, one, the Buster now has the armor, which you have to take into account when you're going for those really tight frame. Basically, when you're contending on gaps of 1 or 2 frames, it all makes a difference if you know what you can do and what you can't do. So Radune opens up really explosively through the wall, two-thirds of the opponent's life bar. Again, doesn't get the meaty Berserker slash out. And I think this is definitely worth for Koi to try to check. I mean, if it comes as a raw Berserker slash like that, it can definitely be thrown. Let's see, Radune did flinch there, big potential combo, gets a burst between there, and now, because the Gigantor is going the wrong way, it does not gain any additional benefits. However, with that range, massive reach, just goes for a round star buster. I think Radune was dashing forward as well, so in a slightly different Yomi layers there. Potemkin is another character who gets a lot of value out of single hits, and there, do we have the conversion? We have a quick ABC into a Buster setup. And taking the lead here early on the random select match on Bounty Hunters. But lots of things can happen still. The luck of the draw is... How do they say? What's the word I'm looking for? Is it fickle mistress? And the next one will be Nagori Yuki for Koi. Which is, if I recall correctly, it was in... Yeah, it's in the basics tier as well. Another character with heavy damage from single hits, especially when you draw close to that high blood. I would say the low blood play is actually slightly more technical and difficult on Nagori Yuki, because you have, you have your combo routing, you have like everything that you kind of have to like learn in training mode. But then when you draw closer to that level 3, you get to play a little bit more Samurai Showdown, right? Where your combo is probably gonna be just like 1, 2, 3. I mean, technically your combos could be 1, 2, 3 in low blood as well, depending on how much you wanna how hard you wanna go in. And that was decently hard commit there to the blood, but KaraKoi with a really nice hit confirm, able to determine, alright, that should be a kill. Radune did not have a burst, so we can burn. Speaking of burning, was hoping to go for all in. Oh, that's gonna pop. And the combo, the far slash doesn't connect. I think that was meant to be a close slash in order to juggle Radune a little bit higher, but goddamn, this damage goes for a big Hail Mary. And because of the new change as well, that takes Koi into 0 hit points. Really basically bet the farm there. It does so much damage now, but if you unleash it when it's, when it doesn't kill the opponent, you basically go down to 0 hit points yourself. And now Radune able to get him, doubles it up with the Berserker slash. Won't be thrown this time. The back turn S. One of the nicest moves. Again, catches the back dash. It's so active and it goes so far. Tries to go a little bit too close here. The bait on the S. Let's see the combo. That's not quite gonna be a pop because Koi did not commit to the blood burn. That might pop though. That is gonna pop. It's gonna be a safe one, but now 0 hit points gaming. Radune is really close as well and won't be able to FD in time. What a... That was literally Evo moment, the one that everybody knows. It's like Justin Wong at the other side of the screen. On Chun-Li, am I gonna super Daigo? Fuck it, I'm gonna super. And at that point, it's kind of like, well, do you have the means to negate all the incoming damage there? I think Koi might have been committing to a button on the way down there. I blinked and I missed it, but the fact of the matter is, the super damage goes through on that 1 hit point. Ooh. It's been a very heavy roster of characters for Koi. Next one gonna be Goat Lewis. We're basically going through every single big body character in the game right now. And most of those are in the mid column there, in the basics column. Right, another character, very explosive yet.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
I guess, yeah, I'm not sure how much more technical Gortlois is compared to many of these other characters. You gotta have the strange inputting methods down though, as Gortlois basically deals with only health circles, and those health circles can go from very weird positions to, you know, can be like angles that you're usually not used to inputting at all. So requires a little bit of training mode time as well. Again, there is a gap there on the hard knockdown. You could make it a 1 frame gap. I wonder if it's like a manual timing. I'm actually not sure. Rushes to the 2K. Checks if the burst is coming. Indeed, it has been queued up, and at that point, Radune has no choice but to yield and go to the next round. Bounces from a mid-screen away. This is footsies. 2Ks from Gortlois and 2Ds for Radune, and then the DP. Let's see the punish. We get a pretty good one. It is mid-screen after all, so you can't do your best combos. Now, this time it's Radune who goes for the reversal throw option. Still technically in the corner, finds a small hit. Will be able to DP out of the drone, but I think that will still be the death of Radune here. I feel like these hard-hitting characters, as long as Koi has the basic like close/punish combos down, it's gonna be pretty good because the DPs are eventually gonna come out, and if you have a lot of potential firepower on those. Oh, I think this is the one. This is the one, right? This is the Koi special. Anji is gonna be next, the character we've seen Koi mostly on, I believe. Maybe the question mark main. If there is one match that you would expect Koi to not lose here, it should be this one. So, arguably, are we gonna see momentum from our random player here? Or will Radune just be able to bamboozle his way out of this one? Sorry. Alright, starting with an instant air dash, forcing Koi to go for the burst and collides with the far slash. This is a really nice start for Radune. However, again, the melee timing is a little off. Small 2K, doubles it up with a throw. Looking for the burst again, but this time Radune has actually maybe remembers the option that we were playing earlier, where Koi did play the same RC soft-ish burst. Here comes the DP bait. Ooh, good timing on the burst. However, goes on the Anji's counter immediately to flip the momentum. That requires actually, like, even though that's kind of like, yeah, of course, you reversal the reversal there. But that requires quite a lot of situational awareness that your pressure sequence has actually been interrupted and you are in a position where you can try to reversal out. Radune once again, the opponent probably tried to go for a throw there, but the melee timing is successful on Radune's time this time around. And again, the stutter step or the micro dash forward into Berserker slash is thrown, but now in the follow-up situation, the backdoor S does not connect, does not matter. Happy little accidents, we still got pressure. Radune, this would be big one if Radune is actually able to take down the Anji from Koi. Setting up the butterfly and then follow it out with a classic core. If the opponent tries to jump over, that core is generally not gonna lose to anything due to its massively good hitbox. And the rewards are, as you can see, almost half of Leo's life bar gone. Sets up the butterfly, being very, very safe here. Waits for the DP. Is the burst gonna come out? There it is, the timing! Predicted by Koi once again this time around. I mean, technically, Radune did not have a lot of choice there as per what point they want to burst. There was like just a couple of hits left. So you eventually have to pull the trigger. Ooh, next one will be a Leo mirror. And and Leo is also in the strong tier. That was actually one of the points that I was about to make before the match started, is that since Radune is locked to his main, and because, you know, Leo is another familiar character for Koi, this actually serves like a lot of, you can draw a lot of advantages from just knowing the character decently well. We're starting with a slightly more defensive game plan, as Radune generally does not know the word defensive. We go in and we go in hard. RPSing with that. Ooh, the spacing there barely whiffs the 2S. Radune still holding the corner. Both players with a lot of meter to be unleashed. Finds the 2K, however, goes for a stagger string, which Radune manages to actually DP in between. Dancing back and forth. Let's see the punish. This is a mid-screen punish and we don't have the meter. Ooh, Radune does not believe in the media at all and finds his own. Break the wall. Is that a kill? No, I think Leo should survive here. Yeah, Leo is a relatively decently high defense modifier character. Both players summoning the booms, and then, because the ground has been sealed by the heavy boom, as Koi went for the S-Brew boom himself, allows Radune to, ooh, that was a great option there. So the boom forces Radune to stay in the parry stance, and while he's locked into it, just go for a low, go for a half screen low in the form of 2D. Oh, perfect timing there. Finds the big counter hit, releasing the parry stance even before Koi's button comes out. But now, look at that meter on Koi. Backdash will not be caught. With the hard knockdown then, looking for one more hit, colliding there. Radune's far slash will stay active, but again, this super does surprisingly little amount of damage, or perhaps it is just the defense modifier of Leo. The input, what was that? I feel like Radune missed an input there somehow. 2S, a surprisingly defensive front start for Radune. Is this for real? Koi is the one who goes for the DP round start, whereas Radune chooses the option that has, you know, basically, that is the Leo disjoint button trademark. Amazing. Radune never ceases to amaze me. You think that Radune is one-dimensional, but no, it's a stylistic choice. You think Radune cannot go for these different pace games. It's supposed to be parried, right? Yeah. But a little too far to get the punish there cleanly. So Koi will be able to backdash out of there and then start the pressure. However, again, the meaty timings. It is bound to happen when you're switching from character to character. Their animations, their media timings will change just a little bit and might cause you to, you know, just miss the big old close slash. So point for Radune, right? I hope I haven't missed any points so far. It's gonna be Anji again. Damn. I mean, lack of the draw is one of the aspects of this type of competition. You get your main a couple of times, yeah, I mean, it can happen. But arguably, you could also be randoming into that Dizzy or that Bridget looming at the bottom of the tier list. And of course, it wasn't said earlier, but this is technically like what this tier list represents is the player's own self-evaluation for how powerful their characters are when controlled by them. So it's technically how confident you are playing this character. Now trade here, 2D versus 2S. Radune DPs for great fortune. Inches closer, finds the frame trap. That's very tricky, very brave as well to inch yourself that close to the opponent, because the parry stance is always vulnerable against the opponent's lows. And now, for the first time in the set, Radune manages to pull out that perfect timing on the Berserker slash, not allowing Koi to get the reversal throw there on the wall break. Again, set up the butterfly, go for Ko, and drops the combo. Gets a successful DP here. But the Fujin collides with the parry stance, allowing Radune to get a footsies. Look at that. The back turn S. If there's one button that you really want to press in that back turn stance, it's probably back turn S. Other than, of course, the back turn B if the opponent is airborne. One of the greatest anti-airs of of this character. Good timing once again. Unleashing the parry stance hit. Tries to whiff punish with a 2D. It goes unpunished. So Radune swinging a DP. This is Radune Leo style. Sensing if the opponent is on the same layer. There we go. The timings. I'm so happy that the timing is not lost anymore. Radune has been thrown out of that hard knockdown berserker slash like 3-4 times, but no more. No more. And Radune takes down the Anji. The earlier Anji match was in favor of Koi, but now a different outcome. That's the beauty of it. Spin again. What will it be? Is it gonna be... It's gonna be Testament. I love this. Testament Gaming, one of my favorite characters in the game, is in the confident tier for Koi. Testament, another character that is relatively... You would think that that Testament is a technical character, but technically not, I would say. Very easy execution, very basic combos, but the decision making is sort of the hard part of this character. Because you're kind of working with a 2-step or even like a 3-step game plan. And because like you have a huge cast of characters who deal a lot of damage. When they get it in once, they are operating on a, hit you once, hit you twice, and you're down kind of gameplay. It can be hard for Testament, and now the Gorilla is in, staying there in the midst of it as well. For RBS, Radune commits to a 2D, which will completely whiff on the possession. Oh, but the instant air dash lands in a very opportune place. Radune gets a combo, drops it, but still on the driver's seat. Plus 10. Are we going to teleport out of the corner again? Into a throw. The disjoint of the fireballs will, of course, take care of the... Drops the combo, no matter. We are still on a life lead, and... It's pretty reasonable to expect that you are probably going to take a little bit of chip damage when you're engaging Testament. Fully charged ball. Look at Radune not taking that fully charged Reaper on block, because that's a lot of frame advantage for the Testament player. We're going to stay in pop there. And chaining the long-range gameplay. Ooh, with punishing that 2K. Koi went for a very, very preemptive 2K, parrying the up fireball. How does Radune get the game started here? The fireballs are coming from all angles, and so is Koi. Teleporting again. Everything is whipping, but technically, as long as you're teleporting around, you're also... I mean, you could, depending on the point where you manifest, you could... Oh, sorry, that's not a Radune point. That's a Koi point. Depending on the point you manifest, like if you teleport to like a close slash distance, you have pretty decent firepower as Testament. But if you teleport like to a far slash distance, unless you have that stain ready to go, it's not gonna be the end of the world for your opponent, even if they do get hit. Next one will be Slayer. Speaking of the hard hitters, Slayer also in the upper echelon of characters for Kara, or KaraKoi. One of the harder hitting characters in the game, perhaps even the hardest hitting, arguably. At least it's the ease of access to that heavy damage is, I would say, pretty available for a Slayer. You don't have to do like terribly fancy things to be able to put that damage potential on board. So this is another great character to get on the random character challenge if you've at least been in the training mode with Slayer a couple of times. Of course, the harder combos, the quotations backshot loops or the pile bunker loops are kind of hard if you haven't played the character before. Although, Koi there, as I say, drops it, but at least drops it while the opponent is towards the corner. DP out, that will take care of the left rights. Yeah, even that's another feature of the new patch. Even if you make the opponent block Leo's Turbulence, which is one of the moves that can put you in back turn stance, it's not a punish situation anymore for the opponent. It's literally just neutral RPS because of the distance between Leo and the opponent. Now, good timing on the meaty. Catches Koi trying to press buttons there in the middle. The trademark command grab from Radune lands once again. Sets up the perfect Berserker Slash perfectly. Koi with the meter. What are we gonna do? Go for the too heavy. That's a big starter. We're gonna do a simple combo. I like that. Don't do things that are too hard. Oh, but committed into the motherfucker already. Landing into the 2K. Immediate burst from Radune. Radune knows that they gotta take it right here. Berserker Slash lands.
Duel 3.
Basically a back-to-back match at this point. Radune would love to get this round in order to even out the situation. Yeah, there we go. Look at that distance. The turbulence, it's basically a round start distance plus. So there is basically no punishes or whatsoever to be had from the opponent unless you unless you instant block the turbulence, right? Man, the Blitz Slack reaches so far and got them with the back turn P. The damage is not the highest. Slayer is, once again, kind of on the same ballpark with Leo in terms of defense modifier. Instant air dash in, pressure starts, base the DP. Alright, this is a good start for Koi. Look at the pile bunker. Resets it up. RC, a little bit of a mistake there. Radune did not have the burst. Who gets the press first? It's actually Radune going for the DP, evening it up 5-5, and the prophecy from QK is slowly being fulfilled. The players are going basically even. That's why I was so damn excited about this matchup, because like Koi has so many characters and they're so damn close to Radune's skill level. But how is it with Zato? If I recall correctly, this was still one of the characters that Koi is pretty confident with, right? Yeah, it's actually in the confident tier. Damn. It's kind of nutty if you have these super technical characters that you still feel confident with. Such as like Zato, arguably one of the more technical characters in the game with the likes of like Asuka or Happy Chaos. Definitely in the same category because you are controlling that puppet and yourself at the same time. Have to utilize that good old negative edge type of inputting your specials. Basically, you're controlling your main body by pressing the button and then the shadow by releasing the button, which is what we call in the industry a negative edge. And now with a combo, pretty successfully, trying to waste time in order to get to that puppet summon again. But now Radune, once you are in the mauling distance, whatever amount of puppet gates you have does not make a difference because Zato does not have time to summon. You need to get some sort of a hit, some sort of an opening, such as counter hit 2S, get the summon. Ooh, wait a second. I think this is not gonna combo. This will buy a little bit of time. Was able to get the unsummon there as well. Bring it back, then have full gauge of Eddie. Summon into a pose, get a full combo. That was actually a beautiful ending there. I thought that looked like a misinput, but surprisingly the Amorphous bought a lot of time for Koi. Actually bought enough time to go for an unsummon and regain your meter like that. I mean, usually you would, ooh, perfect timing there, or rather, perfect presence of mind. Once again, does not falter in the face of the basic RPS against Leo. Every single strike could be a cancel into Berserker Slash, and good players, they're always ready to react to it. We're nearing the end of this match, and what are we gonna get? These are the extremely critical picks. It's right in the middle, but it is Nago. The second time we see Nago. Once again, to refresh to remind where this character is on the skill tier. In the middle, would have been, or actually basically, if this was a coin flip between Milia and Nago to Yuki, Koi is probably happy that it does land on Nago instead of Milia. Milia also like rather technical, or maybe if not technical, then very volatile. Volatile is the word I'm looking for. Alright, that's 2 heavy counter hit into, tries to go for a bite, but Radune's powers through with the DP. Another great predictive anti-air. But Radune keeps playing more of the same. Tried to go for a throw there, but the timing was a little bit off. Again, I think there is one frame. If you react on a particular frame and if your throw comes out on a particular frame, it will lose to the Berserker Slash, which did not used to be the case in the past. But generally, unless you get lucky, unless you get one framed, your reaction should be good against the Berserker Slash in most situations. Radune unleashes a very daring super here. There is no burst or RC out of this. We're gonna clean close slash 6 heavy punish. Koi on a set point here. Radune finds a frame trap into 2S, into a throw. And then, big RPS win. Not only do you get the big damage from the command grab, but now look at Koi's meter, or rather the burst meter. It is completely gone. Even with this wall break, it's barely reached the halfway point. If Radune gets a quick win here, ooh, that does not kill. But chip damage again, Radune! Jump D! Minus on landing. However, the jump D is a very special kind of air move where the landing recovery can be cancelled. Wow! Cancels the DP as well. Radune is so smart in the gorilla stuff that he does. A lesser player would be mashing another DP after a DP, but Radune is like, nah, if it clashes, I'm gonna cancel into FD. And now, is Radune still alive? Put them through the wall. Koi has so much meter, so much burst. Blue burst is inbound, unless if you go for throws. Here's the super. Radune, I think, is in place. The perfect. Ooh, but too close, or rather too far. That would have been the fancy play if we get a full sequence here from the parry. But no, I mean it's enough. You are plus in that situation, right? It is plus for Leo. So the situation is still cool. It's still good even if you missed it. And now we are gonna go into the last one. This is the last spin. What is Koi gonna get? Is it gonna be the Bridget this time? It would be such a betrayal by... Oh, it's again! Nago versus Milia. It's gonna be Nago. Are you kidding me? A third Nago. It's gonna be the same stuff. And that will be the last match of this set, ladies and gentlemen. No take-backsies. It all comes down to this triple Nago Ryuki. I forgot, so I think Koi took 1, Radune took 1, and now it's a tiebreaker.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
Ooh, that was a really nice angle there. Getting a cross-up and then landing into a successful combo still. 6P! Wait, was that 6P beating Beyblade? Was that Beyblade I saw? No way. No way you actually counter-poked one of Nago Ryuki's special moves. That is crazy. Look at that footsies. So far that even Leo does not have any cancel to combo after it. Cancel into the command grab. RC. Ooh, that looked for a moment that Radune was actually on the other side, but then it was actually no cross-up after all. Radune Leo on set point. Started with a DP. We're gonna play a little bit of a more conservative combo route here. Bar slash is just an inch too close, will collide with the DP, and now Radune on a warpath, frame trap into... How did that the deflect shield did not push Radune away at all? What is the meaning of this? Why does it function like that? Radune actually frame trapped after the deflect shield. BRC option select there, in case the throw misses. Was gonna be super safe. Super! Speaking of the super! Radune, that does not kill. Or does it? To the other side, misses it. Very close to blue burst. Ooh, Koi still has a chance. Are we alive? Ooh, great whip punish. We're kind of heavy on blood here. Are we playing Samurai Showdown? Yes, we are. 5 heavies will drain the blood back. And then the great prediction. Koi has had amazing presence of mind for those 2 heavy anti-airs, which are technically not usually reactable. You kind of have to commit to those. This time, the back foot kill bar slash will put Koi in a disjoint distance, will beat the DP. And speaking of the DP, here it comes. What do we got for punish? We can't do much because we're so high on blood. DP between the second and the third. Far slash, cancel into that thing that you gotta react to. Big frame trap. Radune has the meter as well. Goes for it soon. And now, one more. Are we gonna go into the Berserker slash stutter step? No, this time we just holding on to the parry stance against the parry. parry! It's not over yet! Radune Leo, 100-meter super! Can we get the parry here? Or wait, in Stride you can't parry supers, can you? Yeah, you can. But maybe Radune was still dashing forward. Super is gonna whip. PRC, no 6P there. Here comes KaraKoi. Actually, goes for a defensive maneuver. And then the too heavy. We're relying on the too heavy to take it. I was like, are you gonna go in here against Radune Leo? You have 0 hit points. And Koi says, no, I'm not a mad person. I will not engage in this RPS. I will instead back Fukio into neutral. I will trust on my heavy buttons. I will trust on my fundamentals, my anti-airs. And finds the too heavy. Indeed, Radune goes for the jump. And that's the move that decides the set. Definitely the best random character select match that we've had on Bounty Hunters so far. And of course, it's, you know, featuring Radune as well. What a nail biter. That was surprisingly good footage for a triple Nagoryuki. Usually you'd be like, ah, dang, you get the same character 3 times? No, that actually had a little bit of a storyline there within the meta progression of the set. God, what a week, huh? Okay, it's the first matchup. Shit. All right, what's next? Oh, I almost forgot. It's this one, isn't it? Wait. Oh, actually, no. We're gonna play the third one first. So Shadder versus Spooky. Right. Because we switched the whatchamacallit, the order of the matches around a little. So the super high level match between Kaito and Aatreus will be in the 3rd slot, and before that we're gonna go into this one, the first ABBA of the evening, Shadder ABBA versus Spooky's Kai. This will be the first time we will see Spooky on Kai. I believe this is another occurrence of the random wheel, where Spooky says, all right, I'm gonna pick a random character that I'm gonna learn for this week's Bounty Hunters, and lands on Kai. And surprisingly good, I want to say good compatible match. I think characters who play extremely standard make really fun matches against ABBA, right? Later on, we're gonna see a super massive slugfest between, you know, Slayer and ABBA, which, you know, has its merits in terms of like the shock value, the like go big or go home, big high risk high reward factor. But this is a little bit of a different kind of momentum as far as ABBA matchups go, because Kai has potential to keep you out. Some of the best neutral buttons in the game, fireballs actually represent pretty decent variety of different angles, usually like against characters who can outzone you, but of course ABBA is ABBA ain't gonna outzone you for shit. ABBA just wants to install, wants to maul you, and wants to kill you immediately. Alright, first keep them in the corner. However, the instant air dash puts Spooky in the corner. And now even if we miss, it's actually, I think this is on the recovery. So this will be super good for Spooky. Putting ABBA in the back foot, if she is still installed, is a huge boon for whoever fights her. For that timer you see on the the bottom right corner, it's gonna keep ticking down. When she's installed, it's gonna run out. The timer is gonna run out while she's being comboed or in a block string. Which is one of the reasons why, if you can trap ABBA in that situation, you probably want to spend all of your resources just to make her pop, just to make her Jealous Rage gauge completely empty. But now, as long as the Shadder was waiting for the flip kick. That is, after all, one of the like day one things that you gotta have in Kai matchup. Kais would love to do the flip kick if you are electrified. So in those situations, wait for the reaction with one of your best anti-air buttons. Many players actually opt to use like 5P or 2P. But I mean, if you have a cracked 2S like ABBA, sure, go for it. Deflect Shield will unfortunately not get much, and now activating the mode once again, stepping around, bait for the other Deflect Shield as well, and there's no exit whatsoever. Alright, spending 50 meter to make sure that we indeed have as much jelly as possible for the next screen. And there we go, go straight into the tilt, and that's gonna be a good pressure starter, or combo starter. Alright, forgot to flip it into rematch mode, which we will do for the rest of the evening. For we have completed our random character challenge. Now it's character locked matches from here on out, so we can stay in the match and let it flow.
That they cannot change society.
I like a lot so far what I'm seeing for Shadder. Patient enough, waiting for their turn, and not overextending too much. I say that getting punished for using the command dash. Great frame trap. Won't be able to pick it up, unfortunately. There is, of course, a little bit of execution requirements for those big loops. Goes for the reversal. RTL again. Ooh, try to maybe punish between the hits, or maybe, I wonder, Shadder probably should know the amount of hits inflicted by RTL. This time, the SDP gets you out of trouble. Not quite 50 tension, so can't finish. Last possible moment to burst, and that's gonna be chip damage. Did he actually have... Yeah, he had a lot of tension there, so could have potentially FD blocked, tilting over the bar slash. Please tell me that was not on active frames of the bar slash. I think there are a couple of characters that you can tilt over with your normal mode ABBA, but I think Kai is not one of those, so that was, I think that was more of a whiff punish. Misses the dire Eclate there. Electricity is applied. I like that! Jumpy to hold your momentum in the corner so that Shadder misses the 2S. But I wonder how... Anti-air super. Alright, alright. Hope the spectator buck is not gonna get us too much tonight. I sent the word to the players. Let's see if they get it before they commit to the match. It's a little unfortunate. I feel like when the connection is a little shaky, which it technically is here. This is Germany to Israel match. I feel like when the longer the distance between the players, the bigger chance that spectator disconnections also happen. So telling the players, it's like in this situation, it's they can basically choose if they want to play it, if they want to commit to the match, or if they want to send back out. Then we are not going to count the result of that match for the viewers' enjoyment, so that we don't miss any of that action. All right, so the sandbag is the option here. So we're looking to go back into the game 1-1. God, I'm still hung up on that jump D momentum delay there, where Spooky in the left corner went for an instant air dash, was probably had at that point had the info that, or actually, before I commit to this point, let's do this so that we can get players back to the lobby. Sequencing things with my ADHD brains. Hope we hit that button early enough. Okay. then back to a rematch. If you're wondering why don't we just return back to the lobby between every one of these games? Basically time constraints. If you do the math and count how long it takes, potentially if even if you have an average amount of matches or rounds or games per event, it still increases the duration of the event by around an hour on average, which is kind of nutty. Which is the reason why we are indeed playing rematch lobby instead of the alternative, this quotation safer alternative. Okay, but gets to the safer side of the round, but not for free. For Spooky Boss ready with the close slash anti-air, recovering from that stun dipper with the electricity on the opponent, able to put a stop on the air escape and then keep the opponent in the corner without allowing them to use any of their resources. Technically, when as far as Abba is concerned, even if you're blocking a lot, even if you're low health, it doesn't matter that much for Abba. Ooh, no confirm on that far slash. Was probably not expecting. Ooh, that's gonna be a confirm though. Close slash anti-air. That's gonna put Shadder into full jelly. Hitting 2 heavy from such a far distance that missing it on the first try, but then doubling it up, perhaps have a little accidents or resets, as we call it in the industry. Good use of FD, especially when you commit to that big double low 2 heavy in Abba's Jealous Rage mode. Super good normal to FD as best as you can. Because of course you would love to push Abba away so that you can't do stuff like 2 heavy into tilt. If like that's one of the nastiest situations that you could be if you let them go for the low mix-up, which is the 2 heavy, and then let them go for a tilt as well afterwards. But now Shadder on a very low jealousy, and unlike Nago, unlike many other characters, unlike Sin, Abba is a character who absolutely cannot recover her unique resource, the Jealous Rage, unless you interact with the opponent. So the very little you have to parry something, but you know, in best case scenario, you would land something on block or on hit in order to build back that jealousy. And we go far slash. Actually, even though it's not the button that you'd usually imagine to see against the flip kick, it kind of puts on, it kind of sort of showcases how much of a gap there actually is between like almost any cancel into a flip kick. So if you're just committing into a button, you can just press your heaviest button for all I know, and it still lands. But technically, you usually want to make it a reaction if possible, which is why you use, you know, lighter buttons. But now, even if we don't have the tension to go for a super, all that Shadder and Abba needs usually is to have a high jealous gauge. Nothing else matters. That's basically your full potential. Oh, nice! That was gonna be a pop! Yet, Shadder goes for a last-ditch effort, drift back out of the fireball range, and then commit into the instant air dash. And I think that was not a punish, but still would have probably been really hard for Spooky to mount the anti-air there due to the slowdown frames of the RC. The far slash, it's so tiny! It's such a good button and such a bad button at the same time. It moves Abba forward, which is exactly what you want for your normal mode pressure, but if the opponent FDs, if there's even a little bit of distance between your characters, it's gonna whiff, and you're gonna be super sad about it. Abba is such an interesting character in normal mode when you're pressuring the opponent, because you have to be super conscious of when and what the opponent defends with, especially FD. Using the Wild Assault here to keep up the pressure. Opponent is still electrified, finds the hit, doubles it up into massive frame advantage, but look at the FD! I think the FD, the single FD there, prevented Spooky from being in range for that tap 5D. Back into it. Ooh, almost got the combo this time. Shadder was towards the end able to flip the position, but unfortunately, this is kind of like the risk that you take. When you try to instant air dash out of the corner, there is a little bit of inherent risk that even if you initially get the air dash off, the opponent might catch you on the landing recovery. For basically all air actions in Guilty Gear Strive inflict a little bit of landing recovery, which is very, very punishable. Or better yet, they might just try to like close slash you or 6P towards the escape direction and catch you on the exit. And now the B&B combo action. Spooky actually being very brave there, pressing a button after that reset. Already committed to the downside, which will break the wall. We have 50 meter here. Great throw, and that's gonna be an instant kill. Presence of mind there on Shadder. Just spent the RC immediately and end the round. Good trade here. I think trades generally tend to be in favor of ABBA for any kind of brawling, any kind of slug fest is usually gonna favor her because her buttons are really, really good in normal mode. I mean, in Jealous Rage as well, but even the weaker mode, quotations weaker mode, has some really great buttons, such as the 4-frame 2P or the 2K or the tilt. Hopping over that low here. 1-2, not getting punished by the Rekus on block. One of the few good air buttons for ABBA, actually the jump D, doing some work here for Shadder. Trying to press a 5 heavy, that's a very, very slow button. So Spooky will be able to get the interruption there. He's got an important round here. Good trade for Shadder, although I guess like in terms of reward, in terms of life advantage or disadvantage, usually the favor goes to ABBA, but it's like if you go back to neutral, is it really your advantage at all? Still electrified, lots of plus frames there. Gets the combo, and that should be the kill. Goes for a fully charged 5D and grows his lead even more. Spooky blazing forward. 3 games up on Shadder. Started very even, but now it's slowly ebbing and flowing in favor of Spooky. And this is kind of the control that we were talking about. It's been a little like at the start of the set, Shadder was able to neutral skip a little bit more, but now, yeah, all of those approach opportunities are kind of intercepted by Spooky. And the reaction test here does perhaps not know the combo, or totally understandable though, because this is I think this is a rather new character for Spooky from the wheel this week. Ooh, the second Rekka actually ends up being a hit. Both of those Rekkas are lows after all, so you gotta not stand up for it. Could we actually have the finish potential here? 100 meter. No, instead of canceling into the super and going for the full burn. Still able to have just enough Jealous Rage there on the stage shift, which has been something that Shadder has been really good with, like utilizing the tail end, the last pixels of your jelly, and getting the successful place in there when the opponent has like 0 hit points left. Ooh, but this is so bad, losing all of this jelly to these resets, these proc strings from Spooky. And again, that's not plus. You do need the electricity to cash out with the plus frames on Kai. Low slash, a little bit too far, will end up popping. This is still an okay situation. As you know, normal mode ABBA has pretty okay pressure. Not the hardest hitting combos, but another great interception there. Both players jumping, and I think Shadder sort of seeing what the situation is, queuing up the jump D. It is after all one of the only buttons that you can be pressing in that situation. Wait, actually Shadder was in Jealous Rage mode, so that makes it actually even more impressive. Because you have so many different options that you could take in Jealous Rage mode in terms of your air options. Tries to press far slash, a little too naughty, a little bit too slow. Gets frame trapped by the direct blades. Caught in the air, even with far slash, that's gonna go into a decent combo. Drops it though! It's a tragedy for you now on your optimal combos on Kai. You combo into that heavy DP. If you have electricity, it's gonna launch them just like Sin Kisk. This might clip, but ultimately ends up being very punishable, especially because Shadder is in the mode. We drop it no matter, we still have 50 meter left. Deflect shield is gone, all of your burst resources are gone, and we have 50. We could see Keeper of the Key here. No, I think Shadder is not the keeper. Shadder is kind of like not Keeper of the Key kind of guy, right? There are playstyles where if you get a soft wall break, and you have 50 meter, many players go into that Keeper of the Key super immediately because it's basically unchallengeable no matter what you try to do. Maybe for a couple of different characters like Sin Kiss, maybe Kai as well with RTL, but on the back throw, are we gonna not gonna install this time? I can see both universes where you install immediately in that corner position, or you keep going in. Ooh, I think this is a punish because Too Heavy has so much recovery. No matter what you would cancel that on, unless it's like an RC, wouldn't save you here. The reversal super does not reach far enough. The increased distance of the soft wall break knockdown dashes in there, sees the install, and goes for a tap 5D. What an ending. I mean, at that point, I think Spooky sort of was expecting Shadder to respect. So tried to take advantage of that respect and dash into a very, very naughty kind of a sequence. But I mean, you know, as the wise man once said, if it works, why stop doing it? Ah, there it is again. Spooky was holding that FD, and that FD is so vulnerable if you try to go into those key grab cancels. The key grab on normal mode is such a good button, but you usually have to perform it as a Kara key grab, such as from like close slash or 5K, you go into your dash cancel and dash cancel the first frames into the key grab to get the Kara key grab. Ooh, the Too Heavy! The Too Heavy actually has range to destroy the fireball here. However, now Spooky with the back throw, keeping Shadder in place. There's gonna be a pop, and now Shadder is gonna have it really, really rough. No option to install. Wait a second! I say no option to install, however, was waiting for the flip kick once again, punishing it, punishing the air dash over. We transform back to counter hit. Unfortunately, due to some of the newer changes of the patch, that counter hit tilt no longer gives you a combo. Even in the corner, it looks like. That is kind of tragic, the tilt. The sort of the neutral skip and or overhead move in Jealous Rage mode. The move has received such a huge nerf between the seasons. It used to be only -1 on block, now it's -2 in normal mode, which makes a huge difference. And not only that, but on counter hit, you no longer get a clean pickup if you know, try to counter poke the opponent, go over their poke and get the big CH. No longer though. Right, keeping up the pressure, lots of plus frames. However, Shadder actually went for a 2S Abare there. I wonder how fast the low profile frames of that move actually begin. We get the key grab, we get the activation. 10 clean seconds here in Jealous Rage mode. Try to go for a refresh there. We can activate. Do so. Close slash. Ooh, good use of FD. Pushes the 2S away. That 2S would have probably had to be a Too Heavy if you want to reach. Now, the problem here with this is... Oh, wait, does it kill? No, not quite. So this will put Shadder into 0 jelly. And even though Spooky is technically on a life disadvantage, you are overall in this match now in an advantage, unless you land your instant air dash button in such a high position where it's not going to be very plus on the landing, and Shadder takes advantage of that. Finishes Spooky with just a normal small B&B combo. Those openings are extremely relevant. Should be plus, I think, on the super. Very, very high commitment, though, in terms of what you pay for it. Whoa! That was almost a pickup. Another air DP. Just fishing for the big numbers. Basically saying, I think you're not gonna chill here, so neither will I. Spooky is now on the first set point. Shadder has... Ooh, I like that. Instead of going for a whiff punish, went for a sneaky little activation there. Right, this will take out of the mode, spend the 50, and then go back into the mode. Even with the little amount of tension that Shadder has. Right, block. No, committing into a button! Committing to a very early button, so now we're in the corner, and we're running out of that juice. 2S is the wrong button! It does not reach, but so is the DP here. Do we get the punish? Yes, indeed. Straight into the super. Activation. Tries to tilt forward. punishes that DP and Shadder is still alive. What an ender. I think a little bit of handshaking there from both players. Lots of whiffing of moves, expecting the opponent to maybe pounce forward. But in the end, Shadder does stay alive, 3-6. Has to play absolutely perfect from now on, though. There we go, there's that tilt counter hit, but no longer gives a big combo. Both players bursting in there. And that should be a punish. No, Shadder not committing into the punish still. Getting that activation, 10 seconds, ready to go. FD is so good. I think Spooky has definitely done their homework there on the, like, how to use FD against ABBA. Basically, FD everything. Like, there's no reason not to. You want to push her as far as possible, as much as possible. We get a couple of hits here. Should get the punish. Oh, no. Tried to go for an air throw punish instead. I believe there should have been time to get a big counter hit on the ground, no matter what button you press. But these are the, you know, in the moment, high pressure decisions that you gotta make when you play fighting games. Great jump D there. Actually ends up crushing. Was that bar slash from Spooky on the way down? Now once again, Spooky on set point. We need only this and it's over. Blue Burst is ready to be unleashed. Of course you have to. That was a close slash counter hit. Activates. But now look at that, the sands of time. Ooh, okay, we got an interruption here, but there's gonna be a pop soon. Do we get a manual uninstall? No, we're completing the combo. And then, into, is that tilt gonna recover in time? I think not! And for that, I mean, even if that whiffs, even if that hits, unless that's some sort of a frame kill, it's gonna fall prey to the reversal RTL. Super far moving reversal. You basically can't space yourself out of it, and it's fast enough for those long recoveries of normal mode ABBA. Spooky takes it 7-3 versus Shadder's ABBA. Still the W not achieved. Or wait, this is no. I'm thinking of metadona. Sorry, I'm jumping the gun here. I'm mixing up my storylines. All right, but now we go back to the original second matchup slot. Kaito versus Aatreus. This is perhaps, or not perhaps, but literally is the highest level matchup of the evening. You might know the legend of KaitouDandy. You might have seen him play in high-profile FT7s, double elimination brackets. Very familiar face. Very, very intense part of the European competitive scene. But so is Aatreus. I think at the moment, though, there are very few people who can take on KaitouDandy successfully. I think, I'm gonna be honest, the only person I've ever seen beat Kaito is, I think, Batachu. And it doesn't get much better than that in terms of like player quality. So yeah, this guy is kind of good. Let's see. I've lost my own lobby coach, so let's go back here and get it. So, as explained earlier, as I was sort of theorizing here, this will be quite a bit of a... This will definitely be a challenge match for Aatreus. If I was a betting person, I would definitely, not at the moment, not in the current form that KaitouDandy is at the moment, I would not bet money against KaitouDandy. not only that, the character, the Slayer character, a perfect match, very, very oppressive kind of unstable in all the right kind of ways kind of character. Really, really hard to play against. But in a way, this character pairing is rather similar. Both of these characters can enforce RPS and will enforce RPS at very far distances. You would naturally think like, oh, so because Anji and Slayer are sort of natively close range characters or get their best stuff at close range, it's not as simple as that. Stuff like being able to spin at any point, the spin being very hard to punish unless you hard commit to a strike that could in fact land into the parry frames of the said spin. It's really hard to thread the needle and get the successful punishes every single time. And then Slayer, P-Mappa, K-Mappa, especially K-Mappa, being able to produce lots of plus frames when used from the sweet distance and being completely unreactable, combined with a lot of other stuff that this character can do to you. Definitely a character that causes a lot of... What's that thing when your brain is just completely overwhelmed with options? Decision fatigue, that's the one. Ooh, with the FRC, we got the pressure plus frames and the 2S to check the opponent. Ooh, tries to go for a little bit of a interesting move there. Some sort of a Kara Fukio. Not Fukio, sorry. The other one. Fujin. First round. FRC still has juice to go for another one. That was a really tricky situation. You probably have to take a couple of high-lows there, and those high-lows from Anji, they are definitely not reactable anymore and are not fuzzy blockable anymore either. Aatreus starting this set surprisingly dominantly, holding KaitouDandy in the corner, but see, this is the downside of Slayer. Slayer is very weak character defensively. Slayer wants to be on the driver's seat. Slayer wants to be punching you in the face all the time. Just like this. But Aatreus still holding a little bit of a life lead. Completely misses it at that massively big close slash. Fishes Aatreus out of the sky. But in the end, is the combo gonna finish? Yes, indeed. Aatreus getting the first one. Alright, that sets up a stage for very interesting match here. Because usually, like, I think a lot of people would say that, yeah, KaitouDandy is just gonna take this. But this is Anji. Anji's another extremely, you know, RNG heavy character, a very fun character, high risk, high reward, unstable in all the right ways as well. Speaking of unstable, we got the counter hit into 1, 2, 3, got the wall break. Aatreus with the 50 meter here. The thing is, oh, just goes for a Kara bite, maybe expecting that parry option to come out. It's good to play options that will counter all of the most common options of your opponent. Again, what is that? Is that like an F-Shiki that KaitouDandy is playing there? Has done a lot of those jump cancels into what looks like an instant overhead. We're gonna have to observe and check it out. I can't remember if I've seen that from Kaito before. Baits that throw with that PRC and brings it back as fast as the first game was, or even faster. This is the kind of pace that we are gonna be enjoying for the rest of the set. These characters, both of them deal quite a lot of damage. And especially when Slayer is in the driver's seat, when Slayer is pressuring you, stuff is gonna happen really fast. You have to make really fast decisions. Ooh, all right. Got them with the back dash, or sorry, the back throw. Into more throws. Where's the strike gonna come from? Kaito basically betting on the strikes not, or the throws not occurring anymore. Nice reversal barry there on the wake up. Definitely takes care of Master's Hammer, but now Anji sort of like the same kind of I guess not really the same kind of weakness as Slayer. You do have really great buttons to mash with. 2P. I think the best 2P in the game, even though it is a 5-framer. Sorry, not in the game, but best 2P in the game for 5-framers, I meant to say. But yeah, it's a really great mash button for the kind of button it is. Get the loops here. Switch sides. One more. Waits for the burst, and the burst kind of had to come out. Kaito, with the massive amount of experience, knows that unless you burst exactly here, there is no hope for you. The next hit is gonna be your death.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
And even if, like, a lot of the times in situations like that, even if you don't burst, the combo drops in a way where the opponent still gets a close slash meaty there to start their pressure again. So it's kind of like you have to try an OTG burst of some sort. Right through the wall once again. Aatreus is building those defensive resources here. 50 tension. Ooh, that's so tricky. Starting for a position that kind of looks like you're not gonna go for the pressure, but then you go for the KaitouDandy to the other side. And big universe as well. Sorry, actually not KaitouDandy, the P-Dandy is what makes you go forward. Ooh, doubles it up with those fully charged Hujin follow-ups, which you can cancel. You can kind of weave into each other as long as you do the charged version of the follow-ups. You can go for another one. KaraKoi, be very careful. Not an overhead, and then overhead into a cross-up dandy into buttons. There are layers, so many layers, and I just can't keep up. Even though technically the P dandy step through the opponent into pile bunker is theoretically reactable, it's something like 20, what is it, 20, 21 frames, 22 frames, something around that ballpark. And that's, with the amount of options that Slayer can play on you, kind of hard to react to. You usually have to expect that it's gonna happen. Play some sort of option select that calls out as many options as possible. Of course, you can never call out all of Slayer's options. That is one of the problems. Able to backdash out of that too heavy. That was actually a great distance determination there for Aatreus, but still getting caught up in the combo. The good news for Aatreus, no super, so soft knockdown. The Nightless 5K initially whips, but then follows it up with a 2D counter hit, and you bet your ass that's gonna deal a lot of damage. The classic Slayer ethos. If it counter hits, it's gonna do a shit ton of damage! Mark my words! We're gonna go, yep. Aatreus knew there was gonna be another cross-up pile bunker there, or backshot pile bunker. What? Ooh, this combo is cool. Unfortunately, it ends up finishing Aatreus towards the mid screen. There's the 2P. Another case where KaitouDandy. Ooh, my goodness. I honestly can't keep it up. Slayer is like one of the fastest playing characters in the game. Even if you technically are not the fastest character, you can play so many brain overloading options one after another that it's just impossible to keep up with. If you're the kind of player who loves to sort of play a little slow, maybe enjoy neutral a bit, like try to check what the opponent is doing, you're doing absolutely none of that with Slayer. This is why Slayer has been always one of the most hated characters in Guilty Gear franchise. Slayer does not give you time to think at all. You're guessing with me. Oh, I guess we do. Aatreus pulls off a reversal super parry to the right direction. Good cancel here into, yep, this is exactly the kind of gameplay we saw from Aatreus in the first round. And now, Deflect Shield is the only defensive mechanism that KaitouDandy could use if they get caught in the block string. Oh, and there it is again. MVP of that round for sure. 2 successful Kaito who gets his dancing into close slash. That's gonna be a big starter. And before Kaito even has a chance to burst, Aatreus has already reset and already dealt the most of the damage into late air backdash, the overhead option this time. Good timing on the burst. Puts Aatreus straight in the corner. This could be the one opening that we need. 6K empty. into land, into throw, calls out the reversal parry this time. It is a double-edged sword after all. Big commitment, kills reversals, sorry, kills meaties for sure, but the late air backdash overhead into super is successful. It's gonna kill, yes, this will kill. So Aatreus still hanging on the tail of KaitouDandy. Another big opportunity to run it back.
Duel 1.
The next game is gonna be super big straight into the fully charged claw. Low slash starter. I think with the 0 tension we can't flip the position, but Wild Assault of the orange kind will certainly fix our problems in that regard. With the meager cost of 50 tension, we can basically get a full screen corner carry anywhere. The clean execution on the Kara busters once again, sorry, Kara command grabs, Kara bites, whatever you call that. I mean, in Finland we... Oh, don't tell me so. The pile bunker, too powerful, crushes the wall and crushes the fabric of space and time itself. Help! Steam! Hang in there! I think we're still in there, actually. Or is this just a problem on my end? Because if the players seem to be still playing. Maybe this is a spectator issue. Either way, Kaito did get that round, and now we're trying to catch up on where the players are. Pressure by Aatreus. Yeah, looking the same kind of stuff that Aatreus has been pulling those wins off earlier. I think that was a reset. P-Dandy reset into big damage. Look at that red. There must have been reset in between. Goes for it again. It was not enough damage. Goes for the buster. Goes for the command grab. But Aatreus calls it out with their 2-framer. Sorry, the 5-framer. Dancing to close us. That's a kill. What a comeback for Aatreus. I mean, that was technically a comeback into a comeback, counter comeback for both players. Because Aatreus started it with a massive amount of damage on Kaito, then the reversal, and then the comeback for Aatreus at the very end. There we go, combo, look at that tension. Sorry, that burst gauge for Kaito. Nowhere near the blue burst. So would be really great if Aatreus managed to land a combo here. Same deal with both players. Aatreus is a little far from the burst as well. I think this kills right. Into, bam. Don't even need to spend that burst. That's how, or that tension, that's how confident Kaito was that is just simply gonna kill. I mean, after that pile bunker, maybe that's like an RC for a couple of extra jabs to kill off the opponent. But that was probably the greatest. Ironically, that was probably the greatest match of the set so far, and half of that we spent watching it on like a fast forward. Great spacing there. Caught them still with the 2S. So even like this is common for a lot of characters in Guilty Gear Stride. When they do the instant air backdash overhead option in the corner, you're usually gonna be plus enough to still catch them, but you probably have to go for a low in order to prevent them from mashing like 6Bs or stuff like that. Into a combo. We have 50 meter. Ooh, I like that. Reset it instead. Now if it gets the hit here, it should be a kill unless he doubles it up with another one. What are these mix-ups? The close slash, the KaitouDandy, madman pressing the S button instead of the faster 2P or throw options or even jumping. He looked pretty good, but wasn't able to keep up the momentum here. Aatreus again, only 2 games away. Oh, just casually strolls forward. 6-6 into a throw, 6-6 into a command grab. Aatreus says, no, I don't want to get that. I don't want to get that big fat universe counter hit. Rather, don't want to take it. To the other side, and then the right side, and then the left side, and then wall stick. This character just goes everywhere. Whether it's during combos or during pressure, that P-Dandy is such a nasty tool, being able to flip you to like a completely different side of the opponent. That is a lot of risk in the risk bar of KaitouDandy at the moment. Really great hit to land. Into a command grab once again of the Kara kind. But without the use of 50 meter, that's gonna lead into much universe from the fast RC. Not a kill. I believe that, yeah, Anji should be heavy enough to survive. But for how long? Nevertheless, even if this 6-3, get this, I think currently, in the current state of the match, ooh, that was a great round start option. 6 heavy, moving forward, calling out the backwards moving momentum of Slayer. Definitely a Slayer-specific round start there. But yeah, even at this point, I think this is one of the best scores that anybody has been ever able to get against Kaito, right? So Aatreus is still like doing almost like at least as well or even better than most of the opponents. Look at that! 2P cancel into 6 heavy. That 2P from Anjis, that's a good button. Plus 10 and into KaraKoi, utilizing the fear. Now KaitouDandy on his first set point, I believe. Misses the dance, but ooh, it was a great backdash. Able to make the throw whiff, and now waiting for the burst. The burst never comes. Aatreus is holding steady. Goes for the gold kind. Not only gets the positive bonus, but also puts KaitouDandy in the corner. Now, this time from a YRC, goes for a far slash instead. Is that a kill? No. Combo ends a little too early. OTG is nowhere to find. Goes for another one. It looks so cool when you have the execution for those KaraKois. The opportunities to go for blood-sucking universe, usually in sort of quotations normal gameplay, is like you don't get those opportunities very often. But if you're able to pull off that Kara blood-sucking universe consistently enough, the gameplay is gonna look like this, as you see from Kaito. That is not a trivial input either, I want to say. Like, I played Slayer quite a bit myself, and it's in the heat of the moment. It's really hard to get it right unless you have super good execution. And I think Kaito is like one of the best players to showcase how much you can just mix it up, how much you can mess with your opponent when you can have a command grab from basically like around like 2 character lengths away. A distance where you usually wouldn't expect stuff like that to happen. Like, I mean, sure, if you're playing against Potemkin or stuff like that. But then, Slayer kind of has that extended range as well. And you can threaten with the command grab. And because it just combines so well with other Slayer options. Because you kind of don't want to be pressing too much. You don't want to be struggling against Slayer too much. But then if you don't struggle, then the blood-sucking universe is gonna get you. Absolute nutty gameplay. Alright, hopping on to the 4th matchup of the evening. We got the other ABBA player, Metadona, coming in against the first of the 3 players making their debuts tonight. The first one of them is gonna be Orthodox, Slayer from Russia. More Slayer gameplay, more explosiveness. This is the predicted slugfest. ABBA, Slayer. Perhaps 2 of the hardest hitting characters in this goddamn game. Although, certainly with slightly different damage conditionals, for ABBA does need her mode to be able to put those numbers on board consistently, whereas Slayer kind of just needs to get in there and get a counter hit. And not even that, it sort of used to be the meme of the yesteryears that Slayer, unless they have 50 meter or unless they get a counter hit, they're not gonna get anything for their combos. But in Strive, it kind of changed. Now it's like, yeah, you can get normal hits and you can still do a shit ton of damage a lot of the time. Alrighty, I think we should have both players in the lobby. And time to brawl. This is really interesting because, like, Slayer does not really have any kind of control options. You're usually gonna be like, you're gonna be RPSing. When are you gonna engage? The opponent has to sort of guess what kind of approach is it gonna be. Is it gonna be the K-Mappa? Is it gonna be too heavy from super far away? Speaking of that, too heavy actually converts now on that normal hit. Even if it doesn't counter it, you can still get a combo into Pile Bunker, into Hard Knockdown, and then follow it up. Able to get the install here. Now, downside of this install is that it was only, I think it was around 5 seconds. And already those 5 seconds have passed. Now, you're in the corner, no jelly. Slayer catches you on the way out. And now you would love to, like, if you don't manage to find the hits on normal mode ABBA, you will have to make the opponent block quite a few key grabs or quite a few Rekkas. And especially in the case of Rekka, if you want to go Rekka on block, you better have RC ready in order to keep your pressure going, because those Rekkas are quite punishable on block. The more favorable option is, of course, bake a key grab in their face. Oh, look at that! That throw into an install. We have 5 seconds of good time. Ready to go. Already queue up the downside, unfortunately, multi-hit. So we'll break the wall. There's the keeper of the key. This is the gameplay I've been looking for. Able to get the throw up. Oh, interesting. So usually you should have enough frame advantage to make the opponent not be able to backdash, not be able to jump out. But it depends on the spacing a little and how close you want to end up on the opponent after your normal. So it's feasible that you might want to try get to point blank distance, and that might give them an opportunity to press something or to maybe jump out. That's gonna be punished. Immediate burst. Orthodox wants to keep this corner, wants to win it right here. However, big commitment into punishable. Ooh, there we go. That should be a kill, right? Yeah, we have the 50. All right, metadona hanging in there. And now, in fact, starting the last round of this game number 1 with a little bit of an advantage. We have the burst. Usually, I think it's pretty good because, like, you would probably see ABBA using more of blue Wild Assault rather than bursting out. Oh, the late air backdash lands a hit there. There are so many different ways that ABBA can actually mix it up. You can go for like basic high-lows on your grounded strings. Ooh, don't you dare to do anything about Danzai. The judgment is coming. YRC to make sure that no matter what happens, it's gonna be my turn. Everything is thrown around. The last word is the deflect shield, but it will not be enough to push metadona away. With the last pixels, metadona actually grasping the first game win here. And gosh darn it, it's gonna be like this. These people actually live like this every day on the field of combat. Right, able to jump out there, but that too heavy recovers fairly fast. Big commitment there. Again, the same situation. Punish on Pile Bunker. You can get a close slash punish, I think, if you're ready for it. But I mean, if you're hesitating, a 2k punish for ABBA is pretty good as well. That should allow you to. Ooh, but hold that thought. We're gonna cancel into the overhead, into tilt. And how are we gonna follow it up? Are we gonna uninstall? No, just commit and then pop. Now the bonus. Ooh, I like that. Look at that. Just a couple of frames before metadona touches the ground, drifts forward, makes it too heavy completely with, because that hitbox of the too heavy is glued to the ground. It does not reach airborne much at all. That's the blue Wild Assault, utilizing it for combo extension. The defense shield was actually still online. That must have been like one of the last tail ends of the active frames to be able to deflect backwards. And now, yeah, it's a multi-hitter, multi-hit low, one of the only ones in the game. Off the top of my head, the only other character I can think of that has a tool like that is Giovanna and her 2S. And this mix-up machine, when it comes to Jealous Rage, has the same kind of feature. And not only that, you can cancel it into straight overhead with the tilt.
Duel 1.
Granted, your opponent doesn't FD you and you're close enough. You know, any kind of like strings of highs and lows are possible for this character. Ooh, was that a KaraKoi? Did I see a KaraKoi from somebody other than Kaito? Through the wall we go. Now sees the parry, still come. Oh, might have mistaken it for something else. Nevertheless, the classic escape from the corner, instant air dash will not go unanswered, especially for characters who have such high-reaching close slashes. It is such a boon to be able to hit your close slash in that situation instead of having to go for like an air throw or like air-to-air jumpy, jump-gay, or 6P into the wrong direction or the other direction. Those are very like weak damage options. You would much rather get a close slash starter if you're catching your opponent trying to exit the corner. Successful reversal is gonna be enough, actually. That was it's funny because you don't have a lot of momentum going into your jumps as Abba, and Orthodox was expecting the jump in to come, but no, this is a normal mode. Abba just can't quite reach there. With a full block string, we have 10 seconds. What? Okay, Ishiwatari Daisuke, I love the hitboxes you planted into this game. But now, with a big combo, the air extension is unfortunately what ends up ending it, but we have so much juice to the other side. I love that. That's crazy. I was like, maybe, just maybe, metadona will actually play it as like an unending block string, whereas we start with Keeper of the Key, pull the opponent back onto the ground. If we don't find a hit through those measures, then we go for the Keeper of the Key again. But metadona was like, no, we double it up. Spend the RC and play the cross-up mix-up. I think that's actually really good if your opponent tries to jump out when you are using the Keeper of the Key. Then you can use the the dash under as a left-right option. Trade definitely in metadona's favor with the FRC, a classic Abba tech. I think usually from the tilt, if you play the FRC, you can get a really nasty angle for your jump in and then play a little bit of like a mix-up situation from that, especially when you are in normal mode and you're desperately looking for a way to enter Jealous Rage, because like her normal pressure, of course, very vulnerable to FD, so you might be able to salvage your Ooh, interesting option. I wonder if that was that a misinput on KaraKoi that Orthodox wanted to go there that caused the jump. Nevertheless, it's gonna be enough with the follow-up sequence, because they definitely were able to see the slowdown frame and the parry startup there potentially. Maybe. I mean, sometimes maybe we should not assume, because like seeing the frames during the slowdown, the time stop of RC is still kind of hard. Let's be honest. Right, YRC, I like this. Ooh, tried to immediately YRC back, but ends up getting blue RC. Still working out for metadona to the other side. Cross up jump D, nasty stuff. RC. We start with around 9 seconds of Jealous Gauge. Yeah, there's no way an opponent is gonna survive that. With basically 0 hit points and basically the best buttons for playing neutral in the game, as well as the best mobility, this character is absolute beast. It's kind of like your 0 hit points against Chip, but then you're like, Chip is an actual broken top tier. Every button is gonna, you know, be a miserable thing to deal with, kind of a thing. I jump out of the Master's Hammer, unfortunately, because Abba doesn't have like very horizontal jump-in buttons. Won't be able to catch that Master Hammer. Look at that! That was so close to the ground. Metadona is like, let me throw as well. Let's see this out. 6P trades in favor of Orthodox. Tries to jump in. Here comes the reversal super and caught them off that backdash. Would they burst though? Or are we waiting still? I like this waiting option, because if you burst immediately, then metadona will go back to neutral still having around like 4 seconds of jelly left. So delaying or completely omitting that burst was certainly a strategic choice for Orthodox. Orthodox Choice. I'm so smart. Alright, 2P works as an anti-air there. Orthodox on the chase down, 6 heavy. Traditionally a very hard button to go over. But now from the back throw, this is the one chance that this character Abba requires. 50 meter as well, positive bonus. Ooh, that was a lucky hit on the cross up. Now, around 2-ish seconds left on the clock for Jelly. Blue RC unfortunately won't do anything for, I think the button for Orthodox was already going active. Maybe it makes me think that metadona wanted to play a YRC, be +10, and try to desperately utilize the tail end of that Jealous Rage. But it did not end up manifesting for the like for the wall break option was rather delayed, actually. Got them with the throw, and now be sure not to get hit. That's why metadona is basically holding it until the buff expires. How long does it even take to expire? It's quite a lot of time. Go for the Keeper of the Key. We are in install, so it actually gets maximum value. The Keeper of the Key is actually super weak in my opinion in normal mode. Nice! That was a parry there! A parry that metadona actually might have needed in order to put themselves into 10 seconds of this mode. We needed to interact with the opponent quite a bit, and now as a result, we have so many resources. These are, I'm gonna be honest, these are like some of the most unorthodox yet most clever utilizations of the ABBA parry. Because a lot of the community has dubbed those ABBA parries just completely useless, because of course they're too slow. They're, I think, 7-frame startup to go active, so you can't do those on reaction on almost anything other than maybe fireballs. Yet metadona over and over again is finding clever ways to utilize those. I actually thought that the parry might be coming out in that situation. Maybe not a 7-frame gap there. Who knows? Ooh, critical miss on the pile bunker. And metadona is vigilant, takes advantage of that. And we're disconnecting. Maybe in the next game where we're gonna have like clean lobbies that don't just throw away the spectators in the middle of the match. All right, let's see. Is this no, this is an actual game, so we're probably gonna be missing one game of footage. I'm gonna pull the players back into the lobby after this one, and even if metadona takes this, there is still we're still gonna see the final no matter what happens, hopefully. But yeah, really sorry about this. It's sort of at this point like you've heard the song, you've heard the tale so many times before. It's kind of out of our hands. It's like we just don't, the kind of event we run just doesn't allow us to go back to the lobby between the matches. It's just no way. I'm unfortunately not gonna host a 5-hour event. I just can't do that. If somebody else can, all the power to them. I cannot commentate 5 straight hours of matches. It cannot be done. The 3 hours is enough for me. It's brutal as it is. Right, even on rounds here, this is actually a super important one for Orthodox to take. so that they don't let metadona go to that very, very difficult to deal with 6 points position. Letting the opponent go that on an FT7 always feels bad, especially if you don't have quite the same amount of points as they do. It does end up being metadona who takes it, so 6-1 is the situation that we're gonna resume from after we get back. I hope this doesn't debate the players, for it is indeed 6-1 and it is not over yet. Yeah, it's kind of like when you think about like how long events like this will last, and then you try to recruit help for this kind of events. That's actually like one of the reasons why I try to just shoulder the burden all on my own. It's just too brutal. It's just, honestly, if you want to do it like I do, with a lot of like enthusiasm and everything, it eats you up physically and mentally to commentate for 3 hours. So like, I don't think a lot of players can do it, or like commentators can do it like I do. So that's why I say I will do it on my own. All right, gonna pop here. What's the follow-up? Actually ends up disengaging from the situation. Orthodox YRC ends up reaching just barely. Pilepunker attempt to go for a back-hitting hitbox does not manifest for Orthodox, and now mix-up time. The timer is slowly running out though. How are we gonna follow this up? The Ender ends up whiffing, and then the pop, but then the YRC and the pop actually ends up buying an opportunity for metadona to block. For you cannot punish that popping animation with anything. Abba can always block during that animation, so you know. YRC, we block that, and then we punish that. Strange how it sometimes ends up working out for you. It's kind of the same conundrum as like Nagoryuki getting a really good like mask on, a really good pop, and then it ends up working out for him in a situation where you're expecting to be at a disadvantage. 2PP mash, I think mashed out of a meaty tilt there. Tried to go for an overhead. Or sorry, it's not actually an overhead in normal mode, but here we go. We can install here. 50 meter, make sure that almost a kill, not quite, but now the final mix-up goes straight into tilt. High or low is the question that metadona was asking Orthodox. And often enough, when you're asking that question, you know, highs are pretty good. People tend to block low by default. They would have to consciously be like, all right, I think I am in a mix-up. I think the overhead is coming, therefore I will stand up to block and get caught due to the fast pace of the match. Of course you will go for the overhead a little bit more than the low. There's a balancing factor though, like if you manage to block the tilt overhead in Jealous Rage mode, you're usually in a pretty good position because Abba is quite minus after that. But, you know, the prospect of blocking that successfully, yeah, it's tough. It's usually pretty tough. It's hard to get that consistently. All right, now we would have the perhaps the slowest pace match of the evening. Two characters that are not, you know, crazy high hitters such as like Abba, Slayer, Nagoryuki, and characters like that. We have Jacko versus Faust. Two characters that are definitely not known for their damage output, but rather for their, I guess Jacko for her zoning and set play, and then Faust for his items, right? There's just, I guess there's no better way to put it. You would have to play anime games, and you would have to know what kind of archetype the item throwing character is. Generally a character that takes out stuff, puts himself in a really good situation because of those items, and then go for all sorts of nasty mixes, nasty resets, nasty situations that the opponent probably is not expecting. And then I guess Faust can do a little bit of like neutraling and sort of zoning as well, although you are not gonna zone this character Jacko out at all for sure. Let's give Munch and Worst a holler. So I think every single time that we have had this match on Bounty Hunters, and we have had this quite a few times already. I can remember off the top of my head like 2 or 3 occasions that we've had this. I think every single time we ask ourselves like, which one of these characters is printing more value? If we assume they stand at full screen, Jacko takes out her minions, Faust takes out his items. Of course, there is an RNG factor to like what is Faust gonna pull out of the item back. So like if you get good stuff such as like, I guess meteors, hammers in the right place. Although I guess hammer is not gonna do much if your opponent is just strictly in the other side of the screen. Theoretically, if you get the good stuff, then great. You can probably push the advantage that you get from the item. But I think generally Faust gets less value for summoning rather than like comparing to Jacko. And through that, because of that, you kind of have to be a little more aggressive. Like if one of these characters has to go aggressive, I think it's probably Faust, right? And I think that's the sort of conclusion that we've gotten from most of the Jacko versus Faust matches that we've watched on Bounty Hunters before. But then on the other hand, when either one of these characters get in, of course, Jacko is a little bit more maybe set play and mix-up oriented, where... Or is that true? Both of these players are quite set play oriented. Because like the strongest Faust players in the world, like we've seen this from Nage from like decades ago. How you should approach the item throw gameplay, you should first, as Faust player, recognize what situation it is. Then you have branching paths. In this situation, if I throw item A, B, C, D, X, Y, what kind of set play do I have off of that? What mix-ups can I play? What pressure can I play? What can happen? And then basically every single situation that could occur in a match, you have all of those like those branching paths depending on what item you throw. And if you are a world class, if you are a god Faust, you will know, most of the time, you will know, like, as you throw that item, you know the things that you can do. You know the things that you can mix the opponent up with. But that's a massive, like, absolutely ridiculous, bonkers amount of information and knowledge of situations that you have to have in your brain. And that's sort of the thing that has always amazed me the most about Faust players. Like, goddamn, they know a lot of set play. Like you traditionally don't think of Faust as a set play character, but he totally is. He maybe has more set play than freaking every single character in this game combined versus him. But like, of course, all of us are just mere mortals, so we can only hold so much information in our heads, and we've only experienced so many of those situations before. And we can, of course, we cannot play options that we've never seen or practiced before, right? Unless it's an accident, but generally in high-level matches, not a whole lot of accidents happen. A lot of it is just, you know, predetermined stuff, muscle memory, experience. Seeing the future is just having been in that situation hundreds, thousands of times before in your matches. Right, YRC here from Worst, desperately trying to push Munch away to no avail. Is this gonna kill Faust? Faust is basically a zero guts character, meaning most combos are gonna do regardless of what health situation we are, it's gonna do like maximum amount of damage on him. Which might not sound like much, but you know, in the long run, it's a lot of damage that you're gonna be taking more than just about any other character. I mean, there are a couple of characters in the game that have zero guts, and all of them sort of suffer from the same bane, same affliction. Speaking of afflictions here, working with one minion, ends up expiring. Worst, actually with the massive reach of that instant air dash jump heavy, both players will end up getting tagged by the bomb, but now the advantage. I love that munch. It's like, all right, so let me go back a little and say playing against Faust is also knowing the set play. Sometimes you might get a set play opportunity if you know the situation that is gonna happen because of the item that the Faust player threw. And that's the beauty of it. It's not just Faust that has to know the items, it's the opponent as well. And Munch went over that bomb like nobody's business there. YRC once again. Munch could play a YRC of their own as well. Trying to drill, trying to find the hit. There we go. Couple of frames of that instant air dash, then cancel into jump heavy. Bam! Snipe out of the sky. It's really cool that Faust does not have to do the FDC anymore to do the really low altitude jump heavies that he was kind of known for in previous games. The trumpet has been left behind. Munch choosing to press the situation. There comes the little guy activating the blue. Well, I kind of like that. So because of the blue activation, make sure that the little guy isn't gonna mess up your zoo. Your three bodies that are ready to plague the opponent. Nice read there. OTG should be enough. Go with a close slash, and Munch secures the first game win. I absolutely love that. I mean, technically, I wonder would Munch have activated that blue buff anyway? Which, you know, might have. But it was just in a perfect moment there when the little guy is coming. It's like, all right, you have to probably interrupt your pressure, but at least your buddies are gonna be ready to work for you no matter what happens there. Big counter hit 2D. Pushing Faust into the corner. There we go, the 2S launching the minion with a really nice slow angle. And now we activate again. There is no way out. Especially since you don't have a DP. I mean, technically, Worst could have super there, but having a really slow super is, well, a double-edged sword. You could do like super PRC to get out of certain kind of situation. Beautiful, look at that. The run under, targeting the punish text there, targeting the landing frame of Worst. That is the beauty of not having to actually go for ground to air anti-airs. You can wait until the opponent is grounded. Low profile under their jump is. And then strike. Is this punishable? Question mark? No? Or maybe missing the timing. Using the blue wild assault to set up the situation. Minion count increasing. Super I wonder if the super would hit Faust so high up in the wall in that kind of situation. Taking up items. One of them was bombs. There's a lot of junk on screen. Worst getting massive amount of value. Oh, that's actually cool. I'm gonna use that. If you throw a hammer and it hits the opponent, is that value? Is like mallet value? Anyway, Munch taking a second one in a row. Value. Creating terms here early into 2025 Guild Gear Strive. Ooh, fully charging the fishing pole. Ends up guard crushing the opponent in the modern patches. Doesn't want to get cornered, trying to burst here. However, now, because the burst has already been used, there are so much that you have to hold as a result of this. 100-ton weight is gonna come down. Lots of plus frames out of all of these items. It's really tough, especially for a character who doesn't have a meterless reversal, but it kind of works both ways. It's like Faust doesn't have one either, so to get out of Jacko's pressure, you would... I don't know. When you're in this situation, you have many minions, you have your minion buff active. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do on a character that doesn't have good buttons to press or a reversal DP to try to mash up with? Munch is very high on those resources. Sending the minions once again. It's like minions versus summons. Rather, minions versus the items that you could take out. Wow, again, that's a lot of damage. That's a showcase of the Zero Guts characters. Elysian Triber from around like 1/4 of your hit points back. No guts at all. No defense modifier. I mean, technically there is a defense modifier, but it won't get empowered by your guts modifier. Afro is on, so we can hit the opponent a little higher than usually. With a cross up, Afro will explode at the same time, taking out the trumpet. Ooh, again, able to avoid the most of that horde of little guys. Jump 2K confirmed into mix in the corner once again. Munch using the burst defensively so that, or rather negating the potential wall break that can be done. This is a very common way to use bursts in the modern Guilty Gear Strive. Generally, if the opponent's combo can't wall break you, if they can't get a positive bonus, if they can, like especially if they can take a hard knockdown on the wall break, that's the worst possible position to ever be in this game. Basically, no matter what the max matchup is. So you're trying to utilize your blue burst mostly for preventing the opponent from getting that positive bonus advantage. Pro is finally gone. Using the Wild Assault to keep the pressure alive, and because of the... Oh my god, that's a lot of damage! Because of the risk motive, or the amount of risk that was built on Munch's gauge. And I guess combined with the fact that Jacko isn't the most defensive character, or rather, not the heaviest character out there, and will take quite a bit of damage on hit. Like over half of your opponent's hit points. You usually aren't accustomed to seeing like 60% health Faust combos, right? Little guy here to help. Convert it into a dick throw, and now we can go into one of the nastiest mix-up situation. Afro on fire. Your crouching hurt box has been extended as well. But Munch gets out of the situation surprisingly well. The mix ends up taking out the minion that was coming from the back. And now the basic left-right goes for a low option. Immediate cash out. This is counter burst strategy, right? This will guarantee that we get into that hard knockdown positive bonus territory. And now it's not as easy to burst out. It's rather easy to burst out during a combo, but from this setup, not so much. Good punish there, no cancel on the 2D. The 2D itself will, of course, be punishable without a cancel, and generally you cancel into, I think, soccer kick for non-DP characters. Ooh, nice prediction. I think Munch was going for a throw there, which Worst ended up breaking again with taking the air and then drilling down with that jump 2K. Jump 2K for Faust is a very strange, or rather rare kind of a tool. There are not many characters in this game who can take air and then immediately break their upwards moving momentum and come down. And Faust is one of the few of those characters. All right, bursting out of the horde hit, making sure that we maintain real estate. Ooh, actually caught the minions there. Oh, the 6B works out. Hits a backwards hitting hitbox of that mix. What is going on? Who is comboing who? I don't think I've seen mix hit like that very often either. Probably not what Worst wanted, because that kind of reversed your position. in a place where you were pushing them into the corner. And speaking of pushing them into the corner, the mix. Ooh, nice interruption there. Or actually, no, that was not a nice interruption. That was a terrible interruption. There was an item coming. You were at a life disadvantage. I guess that was definitely not the time to press a button. I think it was thought initially that was Munch that came out of that as victorious. We have the buff available. And one cool thing about why Jacko players love to use the blue instead is that blue kind of does the same thing that red does. Red, of course, is like infinite meter gain for your... Whoop! Wait, what? 2S? What was that move that Munch used there? What was the anti-air? Because of the angle of the teleport, I was not able to see what happened. Or was that a minion throw? We need an instant replay here. Has to wait for the bomb to explode. But if it explodes in both of your faces, then the situation is going to be quite neutral. Great fishing pole, perfect spacing. Catching Munch doing something, and now can start the pressure. Munch doesn't have the burst either, so YRC is the only thing that they could do. And as per usual, Munch goes for the reversal, or rather the defensive option as soon as possible. Very common way of doing things against, or rather with characters that are defensively very weak or can't take a lot of pressure or damage to begin with. Or just characters that look... Malu? Is that Malu? Throwing the mallet? Crossing up? Munch was going in from behind, and then the hammer still lands there. Best Faust item, as they say. That was a really great finisher there.
Mankind knew that they cannot change society.
And if you confirm as a Faust player, I mean, you can confirm it as the opponent as well, but if you confirm as a Faust player that you indeed took out the hammer, then you can commit to a lot of nasty kind of things, because like, if the opponent tries to press a button and interrupt you, they're still gonna get hit by the hammer. And then potentially you can pick up the combo, and they're gonna be really sad about it. And be like, OP, item characters, I hate this Arxis. Why do you have item characters in every single one of your games? Ooh, the footsies there! The far slash from Worst ended up actually whipping. Was that on low profile frames of Munch's 2K? Or something of the sort? Mallet is there once again. Yeah, not much to do about it other than block. I mean, you can confirm that the hammer is coming if you keep your eyes open. So even if you ended up jumping, even if you ended up engaging, you can still cancel into a block. Nice idea. Although, didn't quite get the result that Munch was hoping for. And now the item overload tries to hit the... There we go. Finally able to hit the... What's it? Hole-in-one? On the Afro. Afro is lit as well. Lots of pressure here, but then bouncing forward with that 5 heavy forward moving special move or normal move that can be cancelled into quite a lot of stuff. The tail end of the 2D actually ends up scoring a counter hit, but Worst, not face, never face, always ready to play more, even after a big counter hit from the opponent. And honestly, that 2D, even if I say big counter hit 2D, it's not big, is it? Because like, what are the combos that Jacko can go from that? Did she even get her combos back this patch? I think they took some of those away a couple of patches ago, but I'm not sure if they gave any of them back in the emergency patch. Either way, fight for the items. Ooh, Munch was able to avoid the bomb while Worst was in the blast zone. RC gave up the pressure. Great interruption there. Quite able to pick up the combo, trying to reset, however, again, the jump 2K, the drill, the dream button ends up being MVP for Worst once again. Trying to increase the minion army. Ooh, dangerous position, lands straight into the 2K. There we go, anti-airing without anti-airing, catching the landing frames. But now, Munch has been able to acquire another pressure position. Jump 2K takes care of the minions. Faust really seems to have a lot of like good buttons to take care of multiple minions at once. This time though, the minions get there a little bit faster. Look at that, the jump 2K, losing the 5 heavy from Jacko. Great button. However, I think the problem, often enough, the problem for Jacko is that even if you hit these big counter hits, like 2D, 5 heavy, depending on the opponent's position, you might actually not be able to follow them up properly unless you're like, unless you really have your mind in it. Have the presence of mind, so to speak. Right, ended up swallowing the hammer, puts it out immediately. Hole in one to send it towards your opponent. Ooh, nice whiff punish there. Worst ended up whiffing a 2K there, immediately followed by, I think it was a 2D from Munch. Aggressive burst this time. Nice, but the micro dash 5K gets in there, takes care of the minion. Went for the command grab, I think a little offbeat with the little guy. Still keeping up the pressure. Here's the command grab. Now looking for one more hit. Go for it again. Yeah, this is another situation that you really have to know as the opponent, because like if you don't have good RPS off the Afro, it's actually a surprisingly terrifying situation that can repeat over and over again. And one of the situations where Faust can actually get pretty decent value. Decent sized combos that build, you know, meter to potentially get a heart knockdown off the wall. Like Faust doesn't get that very often due to the nature of the character. That was a great cancel! 6P collides with the minion! And then bets it all. Bets that Munch was gonna do something afterwards. And indeed, Munch was open for punishment. If Munch was to block that, you know, that mix, not very great. Not very great on block. Usually even punishable. But that time, Worst was sure that that was gonna find purchase. And indeed it does. It's kind of like playing against Asuka. You're trying to poke into the cubes, although in this case you're trying to go for it again, but this time, of course, you can alter the angle of the minions depending on where you throw them or what you throw them or like what you strike them with. Got the trumpet as well. Do we have a bombo? Nice, all right. Couple of extra hits. That was probably positive value there, utilizing the trumpet for Munch. Still, tension build penalty puts Munch into 100 meter. Lots of things that we can do. But Worst, the hot potato game is on. Instead of bouncing the bomb, goes for a 2 heavy instead. And because the bomb was behind Munch, Munch was not able to participate in that minigame again. However, look at that. Dashing forward, screwing up the targeting, the aim, the homingness. What's the word? The homing ability of the meteors. That was a great finisher for Munch there. Great presence of mind. Oh, where did the Afro go? Completely off screen. I guess depending on what angle you hit the hole-in-one with, it will also affect the sort of arc here. Munch was trying to take that burst, committed to the heart bait, but then didn't commit to it long enough. And now, Worst on a warbath, both player, 50 meter, drifting forward, but drifting straight into the 2P. Won't be able to do anything there unless you would have reversal super. So 100 meter would be required. Tries the fishing pole, jump 2K, canceling the mix. However, there was an active hitbox there. Oh, he sees it! And the punish! We can press anything, for the opponent is so low health. Munch is definitely not done here. Even though Worst has a decisive lead here, 5-3, it is definitely still doable, and we've seen Munch do it before as well. Just gotta get them into the sandwich, as we say. But Worst is such an aggressive Faust to begin with that I think playing this matchup just comes naturally to them, right? Again, a really great angle, however, landing straight into the punish. There's the punish text. Baiting the burst. Worst not ready to go for it yet. So a little bit of extra value gained with the items. Ooh, one of them was 10-ton 10-ton weight, which ends up KOing Worst himself. And now set it up. This is technically the sandwich. Or an equal situation, 5D, tries to do the max damage, literally 1 hit point. But now, because of that 1 hit point, Worst will have to basically FD every single incoming special move. And let me tell you, those attack commands that Munch just finish it up with are specials and deal chip damage. A very tough conundrum to get out of. Was basically like whether that fully charged 5D off the wall kills. I think Worst is dead anyway. Ooh, missing the combo. Ooh, I mean, that's throw punish is certainly better than getting a glow slashed, I think. Ooh, great interruption there. One of the downsides of Blue Wild Assault, it's kind of slow on startup. So Worst able to find the interruption there. The little guy is still in the back, will trigger it. And caught the backdash as well. The little guy working overtime. But now, look at these little guys. I have some goons as well of my own. Who's gonna take them out first? Ooh, that was a painful looking throw whip. Still able to pull out and establish control. Little guy on the ground. Again, activating Blue. Wait, the little Faust just walks over? Is he still in there? Faust? Little Faust? Little Faust is nowhere to be found! Little Faust has quit! Despite all that, still finding those 5 Ps, one of the best standing Ps in the game. I mean, it's kind of hard to follow up with stuff, but I mean, it better be good as well because it's like one of the few buttons that you can actually defend with and use for close range pressure. Because I mean, your close slash is mine, it's on block. You're one of the few characters in the game that have that, so do with that what you will. Nice, hole in one, got the little guy there, activated, keeps up the corner until the barrage of back throws, forward throws. I think this is still a good situation for Worst, able to get out of there. Ooh, but the 2P, I think Munch actually committed to the 2P before the drift went active. That's kind of the RPS. If you think the opponent is going to drift BRC forward, you would have to press a fast button such as 2P, 2K, 5K, something like that if you have a fast one. And Munch is drawing closer here. Second time with the Afro. And hopefully not the last one.
Mankind knew that they cannot change society.
Alright, Worst 2 games away for taking the set. Munch needs 3. Great start here, finding the angle, but the jump 2K again! The multiple hits! It's like, it's notoriously difficult to try to anti-air jump 2K from Faust. Even though the hitbox, like, if you look at the hitbox in, for example, Dust Loop or other such services, it doesn't look like it would be as nasty, but oh my god, is it still, like, it's so hard. I think it's the speed. It's the speed at which jump 2K activates that it's kind of hard to get anything, like, to do much against it. And also with the minions, if your minions are not already producing an active hitbox, then jump 2K. Ooh, great dash forward into a back throw. And now, what then? Afro, yeah. Into another one, yeah. Do you know the RPS? What are we gonna go out with? Fuzzy jump works. For sure. The positions have been flipped. A couple of hammers. Is the hammer still active? Ooh, got Faust out of the teleport. I'm not sure if Faust had even manifested yet. And better yet, there was a hammer coming down from the sky. So if Munch doesn't lock Worst into an animation immediately, that 50 is just gonna go down the drain. But no, it actually ends up being the sickest play ever, putting Munch 5-5. It looked like very desperate for a moment, but Munch, never give up, never over. This is where the end game begins. We have 10 games of data for both players. Tries to go to the fishing pole as a way to. It seems like the jump 2K always works, but the fishing pole doesn't. When you're trying to sort of counter poke the incoming minions from full screen, or maybe the fishing pole is actually not meant for that purpose. Maybe it's meant to try to catch Munch from like summoning minions or doing stuff other than just throwing minions forward. But if the minions are already thrown forward, then they're usually coming from an angle that you can't quite reach with the fishing pole, because it's the hitboxes are rather close to the ground, right? And now the cash out. Munch potentially working for the first ever winning position of the set. Still a little bit to go. Worst ain't gonna give away that easily. YRC for +10. Caught them airtight, trying to do something. But Worst still holding on to it. By a little bit, by just one round. Over. Ooh. It looked like it was a really great instant air dash read, or rather, that wasn't even an instant air dash. That was more like a late air dash. Due to the late nature, maybe that was because, maybe that's why Munch wasn't able to get the punish off that. Canceling into some items. Great option there! Avoiding their own bomb. Did they actually check that the bomb was coming? Missed throw. YRC, get me out of this, but the bomb is still there! And regardless of if we get hit, we have so much health as Worst. We can tank that bomb, no problem. It's again one of those situations when you have technically an insurance through your items. Such as like hammer, insurance, bomb, depending on the positions, insurance. Tent on hammer can also be an insurance. Little guy can be an insurance. A lot of the times to get out of those positions, you would have to lock the opponent into an animation, so go for like an instant super or a throw or something that is just not very easy to land. Ooh, caught them with the attack comment and a nice, great hold there. Takes the burst. This is exactly what Munch is gonna need to bring it back. Punishing the Abara there after the instant hit. Frame trap into blue. We got the combos. Not quite, but I mean, when you get that blue buff activated, even if you drop the combo and you have the minions there, it's gonna be really great, right? Because the blue buff is giving you a little extra oomph to your minion gauge generation. That's like one of the reasons why a lot of Jacko players actually choose to activate the blue instead of the red, because blue does both things. Blue defends the minions as well as gives you extra recovery on the minion gauge. Not just the recovery that red gives. One more. Going backwards a little, spending 2 attack commands into a tick throw. Okay, we got there in the end. 6-6. Last one. And who's gonna get it? I have absolutely no idea. Both prospects looking very probable at this point. Worst has been very active. Worst has been getting really good items to fight, to battle Munch's minions, but also Worst has been so good at poking into the minions, especially with that jump 2K. Honestly, that jump 2K in this distance has been like one of the MVPs of the set. Ooh, great 6P from almost full screen away, or half screen away. Drilling into, ooh, the gap in between. Usually I think the mix, if it lands properly, it's gonna be rather gapless, but that time, because Worst was like pushed out of that mix for just a couple of frames, ended up creating a frame trap, and ended up being the time that Munch was actually not holding block. Last game of the set. Set point, Worst. Starting with another great 6P anti-air. Doesn't quite get the clean finisher with mix, but we work with what we have. 6P into cancel. Oh, I like that this time. Munch fell victim to that cancel earlier into this set, but now, remembering that RPS perhaps, being patient, staying outside of fishing pole range. But again, the jump 2K prompts immediate burst. However, the teleport into a close slash, that's a big starter. Now Munch has no burst gaze whatsoever. Able to get a micro dash, switch positions, even despite that incoming hammer, making the best of it. Munch needs this to stay alive. Get the throw. Single hit could go into a super, but we also kind of would like to activate the blue. We kind of would like to use it on a YRC as well. Immediate deflect shield. That's a big commitment. That means Worst is not gonna get that for next round, but is there gonna be a next round? Horn will be picked up by Munch. However, wait, who got hit? Yeah, it was actually worse that got hit. Final Luigi, both players on set point. This is the last one. Worst has an advantage, almost a full blue burst ready to go. However, look at that angle. Won't be 6 speed this time. Worst has been so good with that 6 speed, but not now. Sending the hammer. However, look at those matrix moves. Munch somehow avoiding the hammer and then putting themselves in a position to 6 speed, 2S anti-air. But now Worst coming in. Very little resources other than wild assaults available, and Munch building up, drifting straight into the 6P. However, 6P very minus on clock unless you cancel into something. Here comes the Jacko train. Burst has been used. Munch really close to their own. YRC is the first one to be utilized. Trying to do something there on that plus 10. Naughty, naughty. Do we have the anti-air? Yes, we do. Drops the combo. No! Munch, not like this. OTG, close less is enough. They had it! The juggle was too much! I think the problem was Munch hit the 2S too high up in the air! So they got the counter hit of their life and tried to maybe combo a little too early. Ended up dropping it, and Worst gives Munch no remorse. You drop a combo, I take the set. Damn, that was a really great anti-air there at the end, but this is fighting games. Just reading something is never enough. You have to attach, you have to follow that read with execution as well. Stuff have to align in your favor in multiple different ways. And this time, it was not meant to be for Munch. So close though, literally one interaction away, one combo away, perhaps just a couple of hits away. But so it goes in competitive front. What a set though. Oh my god, so much fun to watch. Thank you so much, Munch and Worst. Alright, 2 more to go and another expected banger on the horizon as Icarus, aka Maria, positions herself for another match on Bounty Hunters. Nagoriyuki is the character of choice. Usually, the opponent today will be a new Kai player that we've never seen before on our humble little show. It's gonna be Sanya Buldozer, representing Russia. Another Kai matchup, another Nagoriyuki matchup. It was Kai versus Aba earlier. Another similar kind of character here. Nago needs to maintain a good control of his auxiliary resource. In fact, in a lot of situations, the blood is much more powerful than your normal meter for Nagoriyuki.
Instead of reflecting on themselves, they blame the beasts.
So if you screw up the management of that precious little resource, you can end up in same kind of nasty situation as Aba. And then it falls upon the opponent. Can you sequence your defensive resources? Can you sequence your neutral options so that Nagoriyuki is gonna be at, at the worst block situations possible? Starting with a far slash. Icarus tried to go for a backwalk too heavy, perhaps expecting Sanya to take air. Ooh, but again, big Hail Mary there. Landing a stun dipper. I guess it's not such a big Hail Mary because if you are on a positive bonus, of course, you're gonna build a lot of meter back for those, even those long-range stun dippers, and can probably expect to build up to 50 meter before the window to cancel is over. Again, going under the far slash, comboing into the big heavy fireball. Icarus still with a small chance, however, the dash jump forward. A little hard for Nagoriyuki players to reactive anti-air, perhaps. We are, after all, working on a slightly slower 6P than it's usually. God, that's a max cash out. And going for the value super as well. RTL would do more, but this will make sure that the electricity will be applied. Wow, what was that telekinetic 2S from basically full screen away? What did Icarus poke from Sanya? Now so the momentum turns. Nagoriyuki, one chance character, one shot character. You need one good chance, and 8% is gone. I think this is minus. Ooh, okay, Mari ends up actually bursting that. Got the backdash once again, far slash. We have so much damage potential here, and chip potential as well, increased by that dragon install. None of that ends up mattering. Icarus finds the backdash, or rather the close slash on the backdash of the opponent. And that's gonna do a lot of damage, as they say. Ooh, interesting. I think that was a misinput on DP there from Sanya. Ends up costing them dearly. Jump over, great dash jump once again into a very delayed red Wild Assault. That was a cool looking combo. I think I've never seen a sequence quite like that before. Multiple hits here, so the frame data of all of these special moves is gonna be a little bit better when you are in Dragon Install. Icarus wants it to stop, but is he gonna stop though? Send them. Ooh, accidental cross up! And Icarus is definitely gonna take advantage of that, trying to sequence as many 6 heavies as they can in there. Electricity is applied. We have blood open. So Clone Fukio and Beyblade are potentially possible, but Sanya commits to a big Hail Mary Dipper once again. If that Dipper lands, I mean, even with Dragon Install, it's gonna be punishable, right? It is slightly better because of that install, but it's still like minus what? It's at least minus 10? Something like that. Icarus going for a... Ooh, tried to snipe out that fireball, but a little too low blood. Level 3 is probably what we required for that. Taking a step back, getting electrified. There's the 6P, but again, it's so slow. In fact, on Nago, the 6P often enough ends up landing, like going under the opponent's jump in and landing as a landing recovery, like that. It's kind of funny, but it kind of ends up working out for you. Maybe it's even better for certain combos to get like a grounded 6P into a DP and then go from there. Right, great gap there. Leaving, or rather, great delay there from Sanya. Leaving just the perfect amount of gap to get a frame trap. And then the whip punish! I love this! I freaking love this so much! Fundamentals, man, gameplay, whip punishes, all the basics are perfect. Comboing into the new combo. Electricity is on, heavy DP, cashing out as much as possible. Now Icarus does have a little bit of tension to use, as well as the full blood bar. Tried to go for a clone, however the clone has a little bit of startup. I think in that situation, is Beyblade? Beyblade is a little faster on startup than clone, right? There we go, the 6P. Gets a quick 1-2, but now Sanya is back in the pressure once again, and the blood is high. So any damage done is gonna hurt quite a lot. Icarus knows that would have been a wall break. We don't want to take that here. Ooh, great RPS, going for a 6P, predicting that there is in fact gonna be a far slash from Icarus. Set up the fireball. Probably too far for Nagoriki's reversal super to do anything about that. Ooh, baited the throw, and from the jumping counter hit, we'll be able to combo into an air DP for an extended value. Sanya is using really cool looking combos. Like they're kind of BNB combos, but with variations that I haven't necessarily seen before. Attempting the whip punish on that DP, however, it's so hard because there is an option to delay your DP follow-up. You could just choose to not do it, but you could delay it quite a lot as well. So if your opponent tries to punish it, nice DP. Especially preventing yourself getting cornered with that DP, really great. All right, activating again at the perfect threshold, probably around maximum amount of damage, or the maximum amount of health that you could ever have before activating. It does require you to be at... How many percent is it? Successful 6P, missing the 6 heavy, however, following it up with a Beyblade. That's the Nagoriyuki gameplay that we're looking for. The Beyblade's so fast and so good at catching people. Trying to poke you, trying to escape on the ground. Does everything. Ooh, great choice of buttons here, or cancels there for Sanya. Hops over that 2S from Nagoriyuki with the hop kick. And now, again, the perfect delay. Look at that manual delay. There's so much delay. And then inching forward with a direct late. Go for another one. Sanya is on fire. And now the ball is on Icarus's court to sort of stop this momentum somehow. There we go. Clone Fukio costs a lot, but we fixed our problems with the use of Blood-Sucking Universe. Nice. Remaining standing for the 5D. Sanya making a lot of big gambles here, and is paying for all of those. I think the biggest gamble was to try to go for the tap blitz without using 50 meter here, right? And if the opponent would be blocking that, you are in a quite the pickle afterward. It's gonna be quite minus, even punishable sometimes. Starting a lot with the basics. Far slash into Wild Assault combo, especially when you don't have the corner already. And we spent the other as well, RTL. I think this doesn't break from this range, right? Yeah, but it does get quite a lot of value putting the opponent in the corner. Now with the jump D-string, I love that. Into Mario ready to tech, as all Naga players should. For that extended throw range, does give you... Oh, that's still a combo. All right. Wasn't able to catch Sanya's backdash that time. And now, comboing into the heavy fireball. You've seen this before. Maximum damage. Boom! Bam! Thank you, ma'am! With a double heavy DP. Alright, opting to not complete the combo. And then into the throw. DP once again works out for Sanya. However, in the follow-up situation, Icarus managing to get the position back. Again, the DP. Sanya is definitely not scared of swinging that thing around. Far slash slash was probably waiting for a DP again. Again, Sanya played like a couple of DPs really fast back to back. So it's reasonable to expect maybe that, you know, the opponent might be very fond of that DP. So aborting your sequence and checking like, all right, are you in fact DPing on all of my pressure situations? Lots of plus frames from that. This time, the 50 meter is there, and the tap blitz, the 20 frame overhead, very hard to react to. Ooh, that's a big one. Putting Sanya into the corner, tries to go for the tap dust again. However, DP, it's the DP every time in the corner. How about now? Bursting in a, like, I actually like that burst. Putting Icarus in a really high block situation. And this is kind of like, especially for standard characters, Nagoriyuki becomes so much easier to control, or rather not control, but so much easier to predict. What is gonna happen when he's at blood level 3? Options are usually 5 heavy, 2S, 2 heavy. Basically 3 options that you have to worry about. You're just worrying about the horizontal spacing there on the ground. But when the blood is available, it could be so many different things. Nice bait there. Are we gonna still see a burst? Nope, that 6 heavy is just gonna take care of it. I think Sanya didn't, like, even if they were probably thinking about should I burst or not, I think if I'm in that situation, I don't have fast enough decision making to pull the trigger. Because like you never want to pull the trigger on burst like without thinking about it. Impulsively is the curse word. Don't be an impulsive burster. It's hard. It's usually easy to predict and much easier to exploit. I finding a hit again into Red Wild Assault and then comboing into Dragon Install. This is great. Now the maximum value from the fireball. What else can we do? This is gonna catch the Red Wild Assault. No pressure extension for you, sir. We're trying to be as safe as possible. Look at the spacing there. After the super, the slight amount of frames on the Fukio, sliding forward but then letting it go with a 2S from a perfect distance where if Sanya was to DP again, it would surely whiff to the 2S disjoints of Nagoriyuki. Yeah, stagger pressure, waiting for the DP. It's not gonna come out just yet. Ooh, again! That was DP, I swear. I swear on me mom. That was DP from Sanya. But they missed the input and got an S fireball instead. There we go. That's the DP. There we go. However, here comes Maria, putting the opponent on the ground. While he's starting to mount up, however, it doesn't matter if the opponent is at low health, especially since in the modern patches, the high blood level 3 heavy buttons are starting to chip so much. It's actually maybe better in that kind of situations to be on high blood, even though you have such strong options for, you know, trying to skip neutral or force things with your blood burns. There's a lot of respect there. Stun Dipper will be supered. Bam! Not quite equalizing the situation, but this will give Icarus Babe basically everything back. The blood, the position. There we go. Life is equalized. Trading into it and then beating it with a white Wild Assault. All right. Unfortunately, the investment of the Wild Assault was quite large. And because Icarus wasn't able to push the situation afterwards, yeah, the cost is quite steep here. And it's the consequences are gonna get carried to the next situation, or rather next round. Great close slash anti-air by Icarus. Orange Wild Assault to buy some real estate, as it will. Backdash, calls out the throw. This is big one. Able to get the side switch, able to get the super. Icarus is locked in. The burst gauge will be maximized, as well as tensions will be high. But Icarus being on positive bonus, is the burst gonna come out? And she commits to it! You love to see it, you love, like, in this kind of situation, I hate half-assed commitments. You're like, all right, I think it's gonna come out, I'm gonna like RC bait, and then you wait for like 20 frames and then resume your pressure. When you know the opponent is gonna burst, they have to burst. It's gonna come out eventually. It's gonna be a very delayed burst, or it's gonna be an OTG burst, right? So love to see the commitment there. And even if you commit and they don't burst, you're still gonna get close slash, right? You can still restart your pressure, unless it's that aforementioned OTG burst. Ooh, able to wait. How was Icarus able to block out of the Fukyo? Was that just... Can he cancel Fukyo in the FD? Ooh, great timing there. Bulldozing through with the clone Fukyo, following it up with a throw, and his DP conversion should definitely put an end to Sanya. It was looking like 3 straight rounds of domination for Sanya, but we know this. We know Icarus and her wicked ways. She's good at she gets started a little slower, perhaps. Needs data, needs to warm up, perhaps even needs to gather a little bit of, needs to farm a little bit of that aura. And once again, the gamble on the reversal super hits the nail in the coffin. The opponent has been downed, and look at that, perfect spacing. Take a step back after the Fukyo. If the opponent DPs, they're toast. If they hesitate, they still have to block that 6 heavy, and you're still in a pretty decent RPS situation.
Duel 1. Let's rock.
Well, Fukyo is gonna cost quite a lot of blood to take this real estate away from Sanya, and now Sanya would probably love to spend Wild Assault if they get some sort of hit in, even on block. But Icarus just not letting... Ah, I see. I love it. So Sanya is going into the layer 2. Now that Maria is staggering quite a bit, there is actually openings to press a button during your opponent's pressure. It is a commitment though, if you end up pressing into a close slash frame trap. It's usually lights out immediately against this character Nagoriyuki. Starting with a decent amount of Wild Assault gauge here for Sanya. Pressure has begun, 6 heavy, 6k, plus on block. But here comes Icarus from corner to corner with just a couple of small sequences like that. Oh, the option select, the PRC option select there at the perfect time. A lot of wise men tell you to never throw or rarely throw in Guilty Gear if you don't have the 50 meter to back it up, especially in decisive situations like that. And Icarus abides by that rule. Finding the spot to clone Fukio, got the backdash, however, didn't get the follow-up. 6 Heavy will once again, with its massive disjoints, completely evade Kai's DP. Icarus... The White Wildstone recovers in time, gets the close slash anti-air, and what can Sanya do here? Commit to the big Dipper RC, spend meter, Sanya is burning everything. And just like that, all of that real estate, none of it matters, because Nagoriyuki still has blood. It's the sort of the game plan of many characters that you have to evade, you have to bait the blood until Nagoriyuki is at level 3 and can't spend another another Beyblade. But if you try to engage when we still haven't reached that point, it's always a commitment, it's always a huge risk. Because Beyblade is so hard to challenge for standard characters, or rather, just nigh impossible to challenge for just about everybody in the cast. Beyblade Shield kinda ends up pushing Sanya away, but they were dashing forward aggressively, covering that distance, getting back into the guard of Icarus and punishing around. Is this how the momentum turns? No, Icarus still in there. Frame trap into Beyblade. Oh, still got the combo! I thought that initially looked like a combo drop, but the 5K still picks up a couple of frames before Sanya hits the ground. And now once again fixing all of those blood problems. As long as you lock into the animation, waiting for the DP never comes. Yeah, Sanya has been a little bit more prone to DP in the corner, but not so much in the mid-screen. Good 6P, and we can commit! Burn it all down! From a 6P no less. The balancing factor, maybe the 6P is a little low, a little slow, but when you can get a clean one. Speaking of clean ones, dirty! That was 6 Heavy into 6 Heavy. Half of Sanya's life gone. Combo into the Dragon install once again. What can we do this time? Icarus still has one special move available, perhaps even a couple of Hukyos. Ooh, that's a big counter hit with Icarus burst, saving it for now, getting a back throw. Is that a kill? So close to the tension, it's not quite there. Popping into a miss. Ah, so close. I think I've been told from that blood pop situation in that exact same sequence, it sometimes can be really hard to pick up with a button afterwards as the opponent is coming down. So it's like, it's for consistency's sake, it's better to try to pick up with light buttons, because like then if you miss, you're actually not gonna be in a true punish situation. Which is what happened to Icarus there. I think missed the combo, but we're still able to be plus afterwards. That's hitting up the fireball Oki, which not much to do about it. Oh, because that too bad. That was a really great idea. Wait, does the heavy DP, if it's a starter, it still launches you really high. So that's a really high commit, but high reward play as well if the opponent is electrified, as Sanya did there. Alright, the second hit of DP comes through. There's the rare DP mid-screen, which Icarus does outspace. Oh, just in the nick of time. She was about to pop. It was about to go down in flames. I mean, technically, Icarus still had a burst there. So, and was sitting on a round lead. So technically, that was still okay. Even if that blood pop, even if that situation doesn't end up in Icarus's favor, we're still kind of okay. But now, how okay is Sanya here? 4-6. Can't afford to drop any more games. Checking. 5K, 6K. There we go. There's the counterplay. So there is quite a lot of gap between any cancel to 6K, which you have to be brave enough to interrupt. if you want to prevent the plus frames coming in from the 6K. Blood is fixed. Into 6 heavy, not quite enough damage. Starter was quite prorated. Will be able to block in time out of that back Fukio. Clone Fukio ends up completely missing, so that's a big RPS win for Sanya. And now, what's the mix-up? Jump D into a thick throw. Do it again. Into low this time. Icarus bursts. Ooh, even despite that PRC option select, Sanya had already queued up their option. So unless you are in throw range there, probably nothing that you can do anymore. It was a really scrambly situation. Sanya is fighting tooth and nail in order to still keep up playing this set. Big starter though. Drop him into. Ooh, was there a button? There indeed was a button. And this will go through the wall. Sanya has a lot of resources, but gotta use them very, very carefully here. Finds a hit. Be able to take it to the corner. Would we want to wall break? I guess the answer is yes, but now problem! Icarus has so many resources! Started with White Wild Assault, there's really nothing to do about that, especially when it's combined with the use of RC at the end. Tap them with a 20 frame mix-up, and you're dead! Sanya closing in, but still needs 2. In the danger distance though, if you are Icarus in this situation, this definitely can't feel like it's in the bag yet. Especially when your opponent is drawing this close. Especially after reversing the momentum. Perfect timing on the close slash there. I thought that was gonna be a far slash, but damn, activating the much better button there, Sanya. Good backdash out, and then the pressure once again. Catching the backdash this time from Icarus. Put them on the ground with the use of 2 heavy. A little high on blood, but 1 Beyblade is still potentially open. Can't clone Fukio though, without taking a super high risk. Ooh, finds the gap! This will alleviate the block situation quite a bit. And put Icarus potentially in a 1 more situation. Disjoints, can't DP this, just gotta hold it. I mean, technically RTL would destroy that, but we haven't really seen Sanya alternate between the SDP and RTL very much. It's either the SDP or nothing else, or rather, no other reversal. Right, good start to the round. Icarus is on set point here, so Sanya desperately needs this. Look at that 2S from downtown! Into... Ooh, get the blood-sucking universe. Lots of options that could happen here. 2P, too far to convert. Still a lot of blood to burn. And a lot of tension as well. Last chance, last dance. Are you gonna live? Have to burn here. Tap the 5D. Would Icarus burst? Yes, Icarus wants to take it right here. Far slash. Won't turn into close slash. That was so close. The activation range of Icarus's close slash must have been on the pixel. Get the burst! And that's it! 7-5 is the final score. Sanya Buldozer started really strong, but then in the true Icarus manner, able to flip the momentum, come back, and have a rather, I don't want to say dominating looking endgame. I mean, it was looking pretty dominating because it was like, what, 6-3? 6-4 at one point? Which is a really hard situation to come back from in FT7s. But yeah, I think that's a perfect Maria script. It's most of the time it's gonna be something like that. Start a little slow, then come back, and then be at your full power at the very end of the set. The aura farming gameplay. Alright, we got 1 more to go. The third and the last player making their debut tonight. This is gonna be... I'm gonna struggle pronouncing the sandwich's name. So it's a hard hitter in the form of Mei versus Jacko. I don't think I've actually seen this matchup very often. So of course, if Mei has pretty decent buttons, although not the best ones on the ground, especially because Mei is a little lackluster on the 6P territory, and your cancels out of your normals are maybe not the best, because you cancel into what can you even cancel? You can cancel into S Dolphin, and then what? I mean, it's a fast advancing move, so if the opponent is not producing hitbox past the initial impact point, I mean, maybe. But the air mobility, especially for Mei, is probably gonna play a decent role in this kind of matchup. Alright, brace yourself for the last one. Two options. Either it's gonna be super explosive if Mei gets there, or it's gonna be a grinding fest. Cause other than Bedman or Axel, Jacko has the ability to sort of grind the matchup to a halt, to a very snail-like pace, if she really wants to. You have to thread the needle really carefully, trying to catch the incoming minions who usually can't just rush in. It just don't work like that against Jacko, right? You have to be quite patient, but when you get in once, yeah, Jacko doesn't have the other outside of a good backdash. Yeah, she's not really that great on the defensive department. Starting with the S Dolphin straight into the corner. This is exactly where you want to be as Mei. But then, the instant dare dash out of the corner. OLC was not ready to catch that one. And now, regardless of who is pressuring who in the corner, it feels bad in your soul. It feels really awkward in your gut. It's like, God damn, I don't want to be in that position. To the other side, nice initiative, a nice interception on the landing. Once again, anti-airing them on the landing. Close slash will be reversaled here by Mei. OLC once again catching with the S Dolphin, and now can follow up with the combo. Hello, what was that? I think OLC probably thought that the burst was gonna come back with that hit, so went for a hard bait. Yeah, again, expecting the burst, which is never coming until it is. Gets a gold burst at that, and now we can cash out with the Elysian driver. Great RPS there from both players. Very patient RPS as well. OLC was looking for once, twice, even 3 times, and then the commitment into the gold burst. Finally. There we go, utilizing those air buttons that we were talking about. Classic Mei behavior, jump slash, jump heavy. Great buttons in their own right for different kind of situations and different kind of angles. Get the tap dust here, spend 50 into the corner, and pounce out of there immediately with the use of split. Ooh, great RPS there. I think if Mei wants to do anything but hold it after an Edge Dolphin, I think in the modern batches she probably has to backdash, which you will have to chase. I think the most obvious option for a character like Jacko would be to use your advancing low profiling moves, such as the 2D. And that's an RPS situation we are gonna see a lot in this matchup, because you don't see a Mei who doesn't S Dolphin. It's just an integral part of her game plan. You're gonna see that a lot. Throw into low this time. Vary up your options. Quick confirm into super. Gonna do a decent amount of damage still. Starter was a 2k though, which prorates a decent amount. And now, ooh, big commitment into the throw without the PRC option select. I'm not sure if the sandwich actually had the meter there, but nonetheless, one in the bag. Even though OLC is pushing it very aggressively, the Sandwich definitely hanging in there and holding up their space. So looking like we have a little bit of a rough connection, so we're gonna move to a player-generated lobby. Okay. So the word is that it's almost unplayable at this point.
Network.
Oh, I see. I didn't pass the reading comprehension test, so same code. There we go. Fingers crossed that we get to actually play this.
Welcome.
Wait, why can't I? Oh, I see. Funky room settings. I was like, why can't I spectate? It's because the room is restricted for 2 players. That makes sense. I think you can change those options on the fly, right? Maybe. Or maybe not. Alright, another try. That is indeed May you're seeing on the screen. And for people who got here just now, we are working for a solution for a little bit of a lag issue. It's pretty common for sometimes players being unable to connect to each other in player rooms, if, like, depending on who's hosting.
Network.
And we've fixed quite a lot of problems during Bounty Hunter's history by just making one of the players host the lobby instead. Which is what we're currently attempting here for a remedy for this situation.
Welcome.
All right. No problem. This is basically my passion. I was about to say I would do this for free, but heck, I actually do this for free. In fact, I do this at a loss because I have to pay a couple of people who help me arrange this. Damn. But yeah, I would never give up the opportunity to host these events. The game that I love will be the game that I host. Alright, back to it. OLC and the Sandwich. Sandwich got that one win under the belt, which we definitely cannot invalidate, even though the game might have been a little laggy. We'll see how the opponent, or rather how the players feel about the connection here after this. Already looking definitely a little more clean in terms of execution, especially OLC's movement. I think it's like really important to have clean. What was that backshot, Dolphin? Hello? Are we Slayer? Is that a real thing? Also bringing up some really strange new tech I've never seen before. I see OLCC in between the rounds saying that the connection is not much better. So usually how we deal with this is if the players say it's unplayable, we will never force anybody to play. Like I know it firsthand, being a long-time competitor, that it sucks playing a connection that just doesn't cooperate. We'll see what the verdict is after this, but as it is right now, the wall stick damage is gonna be the death of OLC that round. Still kind of like copium commentating, in case that somehow the universe would fix all of our problems and give us a great match of Mei versus Jacko. Ooh, that was so close to the ground, that jump heavy. However, missing the BD. Oh, opponent airborne and definitely not blocking. Killer Orca getting us out of there. Again, trying to cross up, but like I was saying earlier, I think that the splits on Mei are really hard to control, especially if you don't have a clean connection. Because it's really like frame perfect inputs, as far as I've understood, that you have to give for, you know, depending on the setup that you want to run with. Jumping out of the minions. Ooh, got rid of both of them with that descending jump slash. And now, yeah, I can see the lag. The stagger pressure. So staggery, in fact, that you miss your own button presses. And now, that was a cool air backdash soccer kick. But now the verdict from the players. Are we gonna play? Or are we gonna call it? Well, looks like we are hopping into the next round, so maybe they still want to do it. And of course, we will definitely oblige. Flame dropping into the blue wild assault, and then the cash out. Is blue wild assault actually a great starter? I guess we're gonna see from the damage here. Oh, it's not too bad. It's not the greatest. I mean, technically, you're not the greatest damage dealer either, especially on Season 4, when a lot of the damage or defense modifiers are beefed up from most of the cast. On the other hand, this other character, Mei, does deal quite a lot of punishment, especially for the right hits. Double jump, able to avoid the angle of the sandwiches, and again, really great defensive movement here. It seems to be the instant air backdash, the back jumps and the such that the sandwich is using to really great extent in order to prevent Mei from getting in. With those S-Dolphins, with those great anti-air into, set up the minions, and then we have 50 meters, so we could see a universe where the blue buff is used. However, FRC into an instant overhead. Definitely cashing out a little. But the problem usually with that kind of sequence is, oh, wait a second, huh? Did the Dolphin go through multiple minions there? All right, well, we'll see in potentially a mauling distance. This is gonna hurt. Yep, with Mei damage, it's gonna be enough.
Duel 3. Let's rock.
Trying to swing with that 5 heavy, however, missing that button definitely gives a zoning character like this a little bit of extra time to set up their game plan. Gets a couple of summons on, get the zoning in, set up the boss frames with that beach ball, and then we got FRC mix-ups of our own. Initially hidden, frame chop into the 5 heavy, and you're out of there. Probably one of the most painful starters in the game, rivaling the damage that Slayer can deliver with some of his best counter hit starter. May 5 heavy counter hit. Absolute beast of a button. Very fast on recovery as well. I think the sort of the long startup of that button is what allows people to actually react to it. If it only had its recovery, it would just be impossible button to whiff punish ever. I mean, technically, it's a very hard button to whiff punish anyway. But if you're really looking for the whiff punish, and if you're a standard neutral character that has a nice bar slash, for instance, it is possible due to the merit of just having such a long startup, so you actually have time to react to it. Ooh, I think the sandwich tried to go for the F-Shiki setup again, but just missed it barely there. That setup might be really hard to hit as well if there's a little bit of a delay. Moving through the mud, of course, basically any kind of sequence that requires technical inputs. And I mean, out of these characters, I think Mei with the splits is finally like is finally a character that has a little bit of like extra difficult execution to her. But traditionally, if we look at which one of these characters has the harder to execute stuff, you would say it's probably gonna be Jacko. Alright, the cash out. Use the super that hits harder. It's actually so hard that Jacko's just out of there. Yeah, I mean, she is the damage character after all. Swinging, straight head first, the S-Dolphin into a parry command. Once again, the sandwich opting to not challenge too actively with the ground to air anti-airs, trying to go under as much as possible. And the patience, the respect. Is it left or right? Both of these characters have the same type of mix-up. This time from the front. And the onslaught is not gonna end. Split early into a command grab. No, the sandwich won't have time to mount any sort of interruption there. It is, of course, always a little. It is a gamble. Even if you see that the opponent did their FRC or their RC and they're a couple of character lengths away from you. Depending on who you're fighting, especially when you have to contest a character like Mei, it can be super scary to press your own buttons. Ooh, missed the meaty here. And the sandwich taking advantage of it. Minions are on board, but that's actually super good. We were so out of that minion gauge that the options were to either activate the minion buff or just cash out and go through the wall immediately. And of course, going through the wall with the super is the more lucrative option. Ooh, good 6p this time. I mean, if you set up the minions on the ground, you can kinda expect like there is only one angle that Mei could come through, and it's the air. But on the other hand, Mei has so many different ways of altering her momentum in the air. Jump too heavy, jump D, splits if you go with the dolphins, or even up dolphins. Hard to distinguish from one another sometimes. Little wild assault, set it up, cash it out. I think this is not a kill because Mei is a decently defensive character in terms of her modifiers. Now the sandwich has 50. OLC very close to that 50 as well. We can now successfully... Oh, that's a backdash! So we catch it and actually break the wall. This is great. OLC needed something big like this. And now, with the positive bonus, can't cancel too far. The Mei's 5D tap is kind of special. You can do it from really, really far away, actually. And that was probably so far away that the sandwich just wouldn't able to be punish it. 5 heavy counter hits. Even without using meter, look at that red. That's my girl, Mei. Another counter hit waiting for the burst. The burst never comes. Is it gonna come now? No! The sandwich is really good with that patient RPS. Now, if it goes like previously, the sandwich is gonna attempt like a gold burst at some point. I mean, the better option here is when you're at such low health, rather use that meter, that burst meter for Wild Assault if you can, and suffocate your opponent. No reaction from Oils. He actually pounces out of the corner with the use of S-Dolphin and finds a big counter hit. No 50 meter though, so hard to convert. Burst is completely gone from both players. Caught them with the minion attack. However, hard to commit. Ooh, go to 5 heavy. No, any hit, any cancel would be okay. Gotta be really careful here. Set up the minion, take the air, use jump D. At that high of an angle, I think it's kind of hard for a Mei to reach unless you would go for something like a jump D to try to get back in there. But still, the jump D projectile is gonna prevent you from doing just about anything. Yeah, I think the players did in the midst of it sort of decide that we're just gonna play an FT3 instead. But ultimately, the call is that we are gonna call it for the connection is just not playable basically, which is a shame. Was really looking forward to watching the match, but hey, it is sometimes like that. But lots of really great matches today overall, even if we didn't exactly get to play the last one. So many good ones. I mean, Munch, worst, absolute banger. Icarus versus Sanya, absolute banger as well. Like I can't even remember the earlier like the first match. Oh yeah, the biggest banger, Radune versus Koi. I almost forgot because it's been so many hours. It's been 3 hours since we watched that. I almost forgot. What a freaking week. Even at only 6 matchups. Absolute banger gameplays. One of my favorite bounty hunters to ever have casted. Such a good week. Thank you so much for all the players this week. All right, let's see where we could send you potentially. Also, if viewers have any suggestions for raid targets, I'm open to suggestions. Otherwise, I'm just gonna pick one of the available options. So Untitled and Unmatched is on currently. What else? I think that's the most interesting looking target at the moment. So let's go that direction. So sending you over the EMEA GGST or some high level. Ooh, it's actually Nayudu playing Asuka at the moment. Maybe we can catch the tail end of that one. All right, thank you so much for participating and watching this week. If you want to play next week, you know how it goes. You can join my Discord and catch the sign-up forms. We'll try to find an opponent of your respective skill level and hopefully somebody who you have good connection to. And we'll play more of these FT7 spectacles. But it's been fun. Thank you so much. We'll see you again next Sunday, 5 p.m. CET, as per usual, every week, without a doubt. Until then, stay safe, play Guilty Gear, and bye-bye.
Like Icarus, you feel a bit too close to the